Ну что ж, господа, всем привет, всем здравствуйте, с вами Скэтман. Сегодня у нас с вами Disco Elysium. Мы продолжаем с вами детективные расследования. Кто мог подумать? А вот, да, кто-то взял, да и подумал. И поехали. Поехали. О, новая заставочка. Был элемент. Там вроде пьяный Ким был на статуе этого самого. Как его там? Ну, короче, распутного короля. Манго для садения. Еще манго надо написать? Ну, блин, наверное, вообще нужно много чего подать, чтобы стать гражданином чего угодно. Ну, вот и Фоксэм.
Hello, officer. I think I almost have it. A new trap design, that is. I know you're skeptical, but I have a good feeling about this.
Oh, hello, sweetie. So nice to see you again.
Так, что мы делаем? Мы не доисследовали там целый огромный район. Можно туда отправиться. В принципе. Время же, конечно, позднее, но... Лазер, а чтобы стать гражданином Пукпеки, надо кого-то подушить? Нет, надо подумать оригинальный бит. Душение — это защитный механизм. Это легализованное оружие в Пукпеке. Не сахар, привет.
There's nothing else to do with the traps.
Ну ладно.
Hi, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's in your mind, officer?
А, надо от Кима избавиться, чтобы тут можно было с внушением больше вероятности. Кстати говоря, это моя мотокарета, тут в мою обязательно затопленную машину.
Oh, that's good to know, I guess. Why is it in the sea?
Она меня не цепляла.
Wasn't feeling it. That calls for a funeral, if you ask me.
Ты предлагаешь почти память о столу моей бывшей
Aye.
мотокареты?
Feels deserved, don't you think? Falling in the line of duty like that and all.
Какая странная мысль. Может быть, и стоит.
Why odd? Our things are a part of our life world. They're made with our human sweat and they share human history. We should care about them as we care about humans. To some extent, at least.
Life world. Someone's been reading up on last century Gottwaldian philosophers. Play it cool now.
Ладно, я в деле, но организация похорон требует много времени и усилий,
Oh,
так ведь?
yeah. You won't even be able to get it out of the water before early June. And where are you going to bury it? Who to invite? What music to play at the wake? Take it from someone who's been through a few funerals. It's easiest to just leave them there and let nature take care of it.
That's all we have time for right now anyway. Come back here in June and see how you feel about it then. It's not like it's going anywhere.
Жаль, что нам больше не удается выполнить больше несерьезных побочных заданий, как, например, восстановление проклятой торговой зоны или... Предлагаю сосредоточиться на том, что мы можем сделать.
Absolutely. Things like what, for example?
The old woman still sits in her chair, continuing with her chores. The buzz of electric lights blends together with the slow rumble of the ocean waves at night.
Не спите?
Yes, I can't really sleep anymore. Only a few hours a night. It happens when you grow older.
Пятый элемент. Неплохо.
My suggestion is, don't grow any older than you already are. That's old enough. What's troubling your mind?
Tequila Sunset.
Я же испортил все веселье в прошлый раз, меня плывка с тебя истории. Держи пилзнер крепкое.
Not much, but it will do.
Он выкладывает бутылку из трех рук и немедленно откупоривает.
Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Булькает коматозник.
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. Something happened to me, too. My actual name is George. But around here, you already know.
Как-нибудь подержу, пожалуй, героев.
I was
Хорошо.
once a reasonably high net worth individual. A founder slash junior partner at a high concept creative services agency. When my story begins, I had just landed a major contract with an insurance firm. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cultural incubator. Abstract value generation, value per person, high concept stuff. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. So I went jogging every so often to keep myself sane.
Погоди, сколько человек на тебя работало?
22 full-time employees, an all-star team, a potentially historical set of individuals. Worrying about them often kept me up well into the morning hours.
И бег помогал? Нет, мне, наверное, тоже не помешал пробежка. И бег помогал?
It did. With my trusty Sansaric tracksuit, I felt like I could conquer the world. But now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit.
Задумчиво произносит он, стряхивая пыль засаленных штанов. Что случилось?
One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys jangling in your pockets.
Он тащил бутылку и издает звенящие звуки.
His eyes are clouded, his dilated blood vessels encircling his irises like stinging brambles. His eyes are your eyes.
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop the jangling, you see? At least, that was the plan. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet, very quickly.
Насколько мокрый?
Wet, okay? It was raining really hard.
В ее голосе слышится издевка.
I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the letterbox, which was useless. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass.
Помолчать.
Reality was looking rather grim just then. Me lying on my ass in a mud pit in the middle of a heavy shower. But when life knocked me down, I always got up.
Кто, Абигейл? Вот этот чувак?
So I made my way across the yard. Standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets, I realized that I'd also forgotten my apartment key.
Так что случилось дальше?
I rang my neighbor's buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Those who did assumed I was trying to sell them something and hung up before I could even explain the situation.
Так я искал Мисаха. Нам бы то еще сходить, но в целом я не нашел пока.
People are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them, especially since I was known to be one of the best.
Он многозначительно замолкает.
Just then I experienced a moment of clarity. I still had the key to my office. I could wait out the storm there. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. And since I hired only the best, he'd already done it, and I couldn't get in. Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years, and my girlfriend left me because she didn't want to date a homeless man. The company, well, you see where I'm going with this.
Ну, как-то тупо, честно говоря. То есть, окей, ты один день не мог попасть в свою квартиру. Ну, да, жестко бывает, но в целом, блин, типа, вызываешь службу, они выбивают замки и все, нет?
He pinches his thigh as if to check whether this reality is the reality.
Легендарно.
So, now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh?
Погоди, это все? Такое чувство, что ты что-то упустил.
Tequila, I've thought about this series of events for a long time. If there was anything else to it, I would have thought of it by now.
Why didn't you go to the authorities?
Да.
Well, at one point they came to me, but, you know, I didn't have any ID on me. So they tossed me in jail for 2 days. I can't say it increased my faith in the RCM. No offense, gentlemen.
По поводу этой ситуации с положительной стороны тебе есть что рассказать?
Yeah. Maybe I've exaggerated certain parts over the years. When you tell a story too often, it begins to take on a life of its own. But what matters is that it's true to my subjective experience. Anyway, that was all the story one bottle gets you. Almost empty, this one.
Truly, he has the soul of an artist.
Почему ты постоянно все теряешь?
Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be hanging out on a beach in this formerly premium but now extremely dirty 2-piece lycra tracksuit? I used to own my reality situation. My business buddies and I had our own creative services agency. I had a nice apartment, an even nicer piece of ass. But somehow it all got away from me.
Piece of ass. Эмпатия 1.
Now I can't hang on to anything. Just last week I stole this nice new jacket, but then I lost it too. The only things I haven't lost are these 2 drunks.
A lost jacket? Sounds like a mystery you could look into.
Что по поводу спортивного костюма? Так, как называлось твое агентство?
My agency. Man. The Boom Boom Room. Our concept was combining high art with the lowest forms of marketing. The color red, breasts, and oil painting. I convinced my partners to reinvest some of our profits in an even more high-concept cultural incubator called Thin Air. The artists were happy, the clients were happy. I was financing a group of poets in East Revachol who were developing a new universal poetic language. But then it all went to shit.
If it sounds like it makes no sense, that's because it doesn't.
Это настолько концептуально, что я не понимаю, о чем речь.
I know. It was fucking awesome. Until I went on a jog, unleashing a cascade of doom that washed it all away.
Что там по поводу спортивного костюма?
What? You've never seen 100% Lycra before? Go on, feel that primo material.
Он вытягивает руку.
Pretty nice, huh? This might be one of the last of its kind. Should probably be in a museum, honestly.
Good God. It's nearly impossible to describe how dirty this texture is. It's like rubbing two jellyfish skins together. You feel about 15% less human for having touched it. Randomized trials have also found Lycra, TM, to be associated with a number of exotic, highly malignant cancers. So you also have that to look forward to. And then there's the smell. But you don't even want to think about that.
Wow, you're lucky. He never lets me feel it.
That's because your paws are fucking filthy, Rosie. We're right next to the bay. You could wash them anytime.
Расскажи о других
My
алкашах.
fellow members of the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, they're exactly what they look like.
Hey, tequila! You want to buy some speed?
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. He's a cop, remember?
I thought he was a cool cop.
A gurgling sound comes from the direction of the non-responsive man.
And yeah, you're already acquainted with abs. So yeah, that's basically us. We drink together.
Что по поводу спортивной куртки?
Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. It was practically brand new. Sure, it didn't really go with my Lycra threads, but it did itch a lot less. Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom Spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What do you say, Tequila?
Погоди, ты просишь офицера полиции помочь тебе найти куртку, которую ты украл, а потом потерял?
Yeah, exactly. You're here to serve, right?
Хорошо, конечно, где ты ее
If
потерял?
I knew where I lost it, don't you think I'd have it? I mean, maybe I was up by the boardwalk, or walking along the beach, or checking out the abandoned fish market.
Это довольно большой список мест.
Somewhere north of here, that's for sure. You could ask around, see if anyone's seen it. I'm all ears, Tequila.
Еще раз послушайте историю твоего прозвища.
What's in a name?
Он позводит глаза к небу, будто ожидая ответа, а затем снова
Hey,
относится к
Spiral
тебе.
Boy, you gonna share that?
Поделиться не хочешь?
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. I was
Так.
once a
Мы это
reasonably
уже
high net worth.
слышали. Погоди, я подумал, что
So
достаточно.
you don't want to just hear the same story again. Okay. Okay.
Если у тебя в запасе еще
I
истории.
do. But as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift.
У меня есть красный командор, сладкое. Отдать.
Classy.
Выхватывает тебе бутылку и вдавливает пробку внутрь
The
горлышка.
tale I'm about to tell you is an urban legend particular to Martinez. That said, I first heard it from a former bicycle courier in Koran. There are many variations on the basic story, and the details often conflict. What everyone agrees on is that nobody knows the exact nature or identity of the phenomenon.
Are you telling the story of the headless?
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. Summer of 44. 17-year-old Gertrude Het is walking home from a late shift at the harbor. It's almost midnight. She stops for a cigarette near the canal. Our heroine finds herself enjoying the peace and quiet the canal provides.
Он поднимает глаза к небу, будто сам ищет
What she doesn't
спокойствие.
know is that her peace is about to be shattered. From behind her comes the clattering of hooves. Startled, she turns around, and what does she see?
Лошадь?
Well, yes, but it's the man on the horse that's of interest here. A man
The pause is long and dramatic.
with no head on his shoulders.
Спасибо,
Wearing a
телефон.
found tracksuit, searching for the legendary found cap that went missing when he lost his head.
Звучит как неправдоподобно.
If I hadn't lost my keys that one time, I'd agree with you. But life is a cruel mistress.
Делать глоток.
Gertrude Het may have been the first to witness the headless found rider, but she wasn't the last. Oh no.
Tell him about the two feminists by the locks.
Fuck, Rosemary, they were dating. No one said they were feminists. Everyone always misremembering this stuff.
This wouldn't be the De Ponte Delgado case, would it?
What? You know it.
I've read the case file. But please, go on.
Right. Early autumn of 46. Ula DuPont and Eva Delgado
DuPont
are
Delgado,
fishing
да.
near the waterlock long after the sun has set. The wind picks up. A sky already dark now blackens. Water starts falling from above. The first cold rain of the season. The women are caught in the downpour. They act quickly. Eva gathers the rods whilst Ula turns around to reach for the tackle box. When she sees something, her shriek is so violent that the residents of the nearby apartment building believe lightning has struck. But there is no lightning. Only a heavy downpour and the silhouette of the headless faun rider. Ula makes a run for the shore, but Eva slips on a wet rock and disappears into the cold, cold canal with nary a sound. Her body is never recovered.
А что было материалом дела? Спасибо, Тима.
Naturally, Ula De Ponte became the prime suspect in the disappearance of Eva Delgado. De Ponte maintained that it was the so-called headless faun rider and that she ran, fearing for her life.
Он поправляет очки.
During the investigation, it became apparent that there was a love triangle, the third party being some small-time businessman. I don't remember the exact details. The leading theory was that an argument broke out on the jetty and De Ponte pushed Delgado into the canal, then cooked up this stupid cover story.
Ее арестовали?
No, she committed suicide before she could be taken into custody. They found her in the bathroom with a rifle, her face slowly peeling off the ceiling. Not a pretty scene.
Man, that's some grisly detail. Oh well. Here's to another case closed.
У нее знатный глоток из бутылки.
Anyway, that's the story of the headless faun rider. Pretty crazy, huh?
Сейчас пойду носик почищу. Так, продолжаем. Я, кстати, может чуть-чуть громкости прибавить. Чуть-чуть. Так, кем был всадник голубой жизни?
Well, Tequila, that's part of the legend. No one knows for sure. There are a couple of possibilities, though. Some say he was an undercover cop who blew his cover and got beheaded by the vicious gang he had infiltrated. Now he rides, searching for his lost-found cap, plotting revenge.
O headless brother, where art thou?
Others claim he was a professional jockey who veered off course during a steeplechase, ended up in somebody's backyard, and got decapitated by an exceptionally taut clothesline. Personally, I think he was just some guy who hanged himself from a really tall tree, and the fall was so violent that his head came clean off. Coincidentally, at that exact moment, a horse happened to pass under him, and his beheaded corpse mounted it, where it remains to this day. But then, no one really knows.
Это, кстати, самая реалистичная история, потому что в этом случае, то есть, он не всадник, он просто труп на лошади, а лошадь едет дальше, типа. Это самая реалистичная история.
For some reason, this does strike you as the most
Да.
plausible theory of them all.
Тоже скрытая теория, кажется, очень
Isn't
правдоподобной.
it? All the pieces fit together perfectly. That's how I know it's right. Anyway, to each his own. You want to hear any other stories?
Во время этого расследования я уже навидался странностей. Безголовый Жаке не убивается из общей картины.
Hard to argue with that, I suppose.
С этим не поспоришь, даже Ким говорит.
That's the reality situation for you. You think you got a handle on it, then blam! It throws some wild shit at you. That's why it's critical to stay well hydrated.
Фигня, у меня есть еще более безумная теория история.
Why don't you go eat shit, Tequila? There's no way you know a better one than that.
Коконосский великан растут с горы, кстати, добрая зеленая обезьяна, очень добрая зеленая, на самом деле ты прав, ничего не по-другому. Как насчет Колду Мама Даква, это волшебный самовоспроизводящийся звук?
I have to admit, that's pretty high concept. Still not as awesome as a headless rider in a found tracksuit, yeah?
Жеромский гном оставляет своих жертв в кислоте.
Acid gnomes? Sounds like a stupid, low-concept band name, yeah?
Коконурский великан ростом с гору.
Giants? That the best you got? Give me a break, Tequila. Yeah?
Есть,
Why
кстати,
don't you
добрая
go
зеленая
shit,
обезьяна, она очень
Tequila?
добрая
You
зеленая.
always try to pick the lamest option possible. Yeah? Why
На самом
don't
деле,
you
ты
go
прав,
and
ничего не
shit?
приходит в
Damn
голову.
right it doesn't. So why don't you just shut up and leave it to the master?
Так, и что сейчас Санька без фан без головы?
No one knows. Some say he stalks Martinez to this day and can be seen near the canal when the clock strikes midnight.
Ее зловещий пас с свободной
He
рукой.
won't, though, because it's just a stupid legend.
Усмехается лейтенант.
Aye. I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
Fairweather,
Мы
T500.
проанализировали броню.
Remember that
Крутая
weakness you
картина.
were looking for in the ceramic armor? Like, maybe it can only stop small, fast projectiles, but a large, slow-moving pry bar would shatter it? Or, if I run an electrical current through it, maybe it will melt. Or, personal favorite, frequency something something radio weapon? None of that would work. You need to shoot the part of the enemy that doesn't have Fairweather T500 on it, because the armor itself is invulnerable. Good news is, so are the armor pieces on you.
Плюс 2 координации против врагов в броне FT-500. У нас будут враги. Нифига. Вот такой вот вывод. Болевой порог, сила воли. Сила воли все в порядке, болевой порог в общем-то тоже. А эмпатию терять слишком сильно не хочется. Газ пылит теперь точно. С логикой у нас вроде тоже как в порядке, пятерка. Давайте драму поднимем. Хотя есть драма теперь пятерка. Сила воли. Мы все в бане, теперь точно штаны из того... Только штаны из того, чтобы снять и все, теперь слышишь категории. Нет, там не штаны, там сапоги. А сапоги уже уехали. Еще шлем есть. Шлем надо найти еще.
Don't call.
There's no waking.
Don't go Abigail. У нас есть еще одна мысль. Я думаю, моторику белый траур убрать. Удаление камеры плюс 20%, не то чтобы было сильно нужно. Очень занятный способ прокачки через мысли. Да, и вообще концепция прикольная. То есть, ну как в жизни, типа ты обдумываешь, тебе нужно какое-то время, чтобы обдумать какую-то мысль. Пока попутно ты делаешь что-то еще. Ну да, белый траур самое такое. Визуальный анализ. Южное шоссе. На краю карты ландшафт начинает растворяться, превращаясь в чистую тригонометрию. Океан плавится, превращаясь в мешанину синусов и косинусов. Горные массивы становятся остроугольными азимутами. Зеленая тень дождя дрожит, как музыка, обретающая волновую форму. А потом все пропадает. Это конец, наполовину забытый учебник из твоего детства. Кольцо, осыпающееся на краю изолы. Переход из реальности в серость. Единственный вектор устремляется прочь, словно ракета. Это южное шоссе, уходящее за пределы известной серости. Куда? Куда оно ведет?
Tequila Sunset.
The legend! He's back. And firstly, I got smokes and piss and a little speed to spice things
полтора
up,
запьюзных.
Captain.
До дна, капитан.
Tequila Sunset.
Знаешь, какие еще есть городские
I
легенды?
actually do have one. The strangest of them all. But I'll need to fortify myself.
Следующее, что касательно эффекты. Не уверен, Фоксэм.
Do you have anything to fortify old Doom Spiral?
Вот пьюзнер.
Not much, but it will do. This last one is the most Martinet story I've ever heard.
Идет после до смешного огромный глоток, как видите, таким духом подражает.
I've never heard it mentioned outside of here. At first, I thought it was a joke, to be honest. But I've been on the coast 8-9 months now, and in that time I've seen at least 3 expeditions come through, searching for something.
Криптидов?
Magic animals? No, man, this is serious stuff.
Место, которое можно назвать домом?
No, Tequila. Most people already know where they live. It's guys like you and me that are the exceptions.
Твои попавшие ключи?
Hey, hey! Fuck you, Tequila.
Произносит народным голосом. Ладно, что за экспедиция?
All kinds. I've seen archaeologists, gangsters, even a bunch of ad agency types. I'm telling you, Tequila, this thing's got a pull on certain kinds of people.
Церковь, наверное. Погоди, что ты имеешь в виду под определенным типом людей?
You know, obsessive types. People with predilections.
Так, что такого?
Some of those expeditions come back after a week or so, looking haggard and dejected. Others don't return at all. The first time I saw one of these expeditions, I thought they were fucking with me. There was no way it could be true. It was just too high concept, even for me.
Best of Gaming.
I'm not even sure I should be telling you this story, to be perfectly honest. You're in a fragile state, and it might be too much for you to handle.
Я справлюсь.
Okay, fine, I'll tell you. But I'm warning you, it's pretty out there. Our story begins at a legendary design studio, right here in Martinez. There was this designer. His exact name is lost to history, but in life, he was a legend. Made it big in Aranya, where he did some real pioneering work on grotesque and sans serif typography. A fucking genius, man.
Sans serif. Готов, у тебя
That
губы
is,
продолжают.
if he even existed. Who knows? It's an urban legend, after all. Anyway, sometime later, he started his own personal studio here in Martinez. And that's when he started working on some really wild stuff. I'm talking some glass-smooth, forward-looking design language, the kind of thing that would totally overthrow the old regime, design-wise.
A paradigm-shattering revolutionary?
But then, something turned. You see, it's widely known that nose candy and pioneer graphic design work go hand in hand.
Кокаин. Погоди, пудры для носа?
You know tequila, nose candy, the white railroad, party powder.
The kids on the streets also call it Snow Day.
Sinus salt, the white night.
Can't see,
Кекс.
for its popularity among the aristocratic class of the prior century.
Граф К.
Along with a number of more banal street names. Blow, of course, but also Flake, Powder, Pearl. Really, anything that's
Кокос, да.
white will get the idea across. He's talking about cocaine, baby.
Ты имеешь в виду кокаин?
Shit, yeah, tequila. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
По-товарищески пихать тебя в плечо, из его бутылки выплескивается пара миллилитров пойла. Так что с ним случилось?
You've got to understand, the work this guy was doing was so high concept that regular amounts of cocaine just weren't cutting it. By the end, they were bringing it in by the lorry load. Now, as you might imagine, snorting that much cocaine can't be healthy for a regular human, right?
Right.
Верно.
Wrong. Do it all the time.
Постоянно?
All day, baby.
Hey, tequila, pay attention. The story goes that one day he was balls deep in work on what he thought would be his pièce de résistance, an advert so minimal it contained neither text nor images, just pure white. Apparently the idea was too high concept even for this genius. He dropped dead right at his desk before he could finish. His last words are recorded to have been, "It's as white as a blizzard of cocaine."
Какая потеря для мирового дизайна.
I know, tequila. I know.
Он делает глоток из бутылки, потом размышляет, стоит ли полить пару капель за потерянную гения, но решает, что это не лучшая
But
идея.
the story doesn't end there. Supposedly, when they performed the autopsy, the coroner discovered nearly a quarter kilo of coke jammed into his nasal cavity.
That's almost certainly anatomically impossible. Wrong again, nerd. Where there's a will, there's a way.
That's right. 250 grams of blow had accumulated in there over the years. We're talking high-grade Saramaritsian pure. Now, there are those who believe the designer was buried with this quarter key of nose candy still lodged in his sinuses. That's what those expeditions are looking for.
The cocaine skull.
Кокаиновый череп.
The cocaine skull.
И почему люди думают, что череп находится здесь, в Мартинезе?
Here's the kicker. This designer, this lead designer of a world-famous design studio, was born in Martinez. A local boy, Martin Martinez. That's why he brought his studio here, back to where it all began. And that's why they buried him here, too. Perhaps right under Ab's pipe there. Or probably further down the coast, or in some yard in Martinez proper. A hidden mausoleum, no one knows exactly.
No, my grandma always told me his grave lay somewhere on the islets on the bay.
This is ludicrous and physically impossible. Sinuses can contain that amount of anything.
My only question is, where does one get a shovel?
Для чего же они ищут этот
The
череп?
archaeologists say they want to put it in a museum, the gangsters say they want to sell it on the black market, and the ad agency guys say they're seeking inspiration.
Bullshit. They just want to snort it. But you could beat them to it, Harry. You could snort the magic skull cocaine.
Кокосовый
instead.
череп и безголовый всадник в спортивках связаны. Ха!
I'm pretty sure they all just want to snort it, though.
And why wouldn't they, eh? Sounds like right strong stuff.
Так, смотрите, что он говорил об островках.
Don't listen to him or his grandma. He's just making things up.
No, my grandma told me. I've heard other people say it too. That it's underwater. Or no, maybe it was the storm sewer.
Or maybe it's in the air. Or in an ancient state pyramid offshore.
In a pyramid? Now that would be something.
Что-то узнал череп
They're pretty
экспедиции.
vague about it in general. The gangsters like to claim they're looking for the grave of a friend with picks and shovels. The archaeologists act all official about it, saying they're conducting serious research. Honestly, I think they're not really scientists, just rich. The junkies, for some reason, are pretty upfront about it. They just say they're looking to snort some blow out of a dead man's nasal cavity.
Honest men on an honest quest. You should join them.
By now, I'd say I know about as much about it as anyone on the coast.
Ладно, ведем вперед за поиски.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on just a
Взять
minute.
дело.
Finding it right now is literally impossible.
What?
А
For
что?
one, the way is blocked by that big lorry that says Delta Logistics Company on the side. You definitely have to search the area behind that lorry too, yet it is impassable. And second, outfitting an expedition like that is expensive. It'd have to be a big production to do the cocaine skull justice. You need new gear, people who know what they're doing, all kinds of provisions. It's just not feasible within the economic and temporal frame of our current setup. Matter of fact, unless a bunch of money just falls out of the sky, we might never know what's up with that skull.
I have to agree. We barely have what we need to solve the case we've got now. We can't afford to run around chasing after quasi-mythical pieces of drug paraphernalia. Besides, it would look extremely bad for the RCM to be caught up in something that has the word cocaine writ large on it. The PR is tricky on this.
Да и наплевать, все равно была идиотская идея.
What are you talking about? Don't give up. Maybe there's another way. Maybe up around the coast.
Your loss could have been an amazing, ridiculous adventure.
That's alright. We've got plenty of adventures for one case.
Это да. Есть какие-то еще
Not that
истории?
I can think of.
Ну, неудивительно, ты нормально понял на
That
грудь.
might be the case.
Возможно, дело в этом. Сломанный телефон куда-то с такой силой швырнул трубку, что она разбилась. Разбитые бутылки, какие-то камни. Какое-то приложение немало усилий, чтобы разрушить этот пластмассовый купол.
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You could use it to call someone. the tone. The machine is inoperable.
Случайный номер 005 24 03 155.
Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It smells really bad.
Сгонь
It's
поближе.
streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. A dangling arm suggests that there might be a jacket beneath the crust of filth. It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry out. Unfortunately, that just seems to have stiffened it into a shapeless mass.
Please tell me you're not taking that with you.
Мне кажется, это куртка, которую просил найти дурак Отроду. Так.
I'm sure he'll be thrilled to have it returned.
Грязная куртка. Грязную тряпку довольно продолжительное время трепали стихии. Она покрыта птичьим пометом, и из-за бог знает каких естественных процессов совершенно не задеревенела. Невозможно же поделить изготовителя. Блин, как эта куртка дошла до такого состояния?
It's a sordid, filthy tale, not for the weak. Are you sure you can stomach it? Some secrets are better left uncovered. Don't even try.
Задуматься об этом.
It occurs to you that you're not even holding the jacket itself, but rather the thick crust of jetsam and seagull shit that ensconces it. It smells like a dead sea creature, tangled in grey strands of seaweed. It must have spent quite some time in the water before the tide deposited it ashore.
Ладно, еще сделан этот слой.
Somehow, it was carried or dragged to the boardwalk. If not by human hands, then perhaps the feral dogs that prowl the beaches at night.
Feral dogs.
The faint impressions of many footprints are also present, though it's impossible to tell what kind or how many. Suffice to say, the jacket spent some time on the ground before someone draped it over the railing.
И что сейчас после того, как ее повесили на ограждение?
The crust is hard. This jacket spent at least a day baking in the sun. Who knows what happened to it then?
Я просто сделал вид, что никогда ни о чем подобном не
It's
задумывался.
too late. You've already thought about it, and now your hands are covered in muck.
Фу-фу-фу, стыкнуть руками.
Now you're just flicking that shit everywhere. This is a disaster. You'll never get the smell out. As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound.
Дикий. А зачем покладет эту
There is
куртку?
no why.
Тогда просто уберу ее.
As you hold it, it's probably better.
Не будем об этом сейчас думать. Им повезло на вес. Бодяги пытались устроить пирс, чтобы жить здесь. Этот брезент не спасет ни от дождя, ни от снега, ни от ветра.
The smell. It's awful and familiar.
Это разве не просто гнилая рыба?
Don't be naive.
А что же это тогда?
Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency, that faintly cloying sweetness. Only death smells like that. Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. Fear. It is death. It must be.
Ким, что это за запах?
The lieutenant has already brought a handkerchief to his nose.
Eyes up, detective. Something's not right here.
О, нифига. В таком случае, пожалуй, лучше будет вот так вот сделать. Осторожно, доски выглядят прогнившими и ненадежными.
A man lies on the boardwalk. His
Труп
limbs bent,
пролетария.
the neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his cramped hand, a chewing gum wrapper. The smell is not as bad as a 2-week-old corpse, but it's definitely heading there.
Hold on.
Присаживаясь на кочку из дуба, внимательно смотрит лицо, мертвец равнодушно пялится на него выпученными глазами.
Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is has been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need to investigate.
Another dead body. This is your job. Steel yourself. Calm now. Carefully. Just another day. Just another dead body. Breathe.
Изучите окружающую
There's
обстановку.
some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clutched in his fist.
Он, наверное, провалился в дыру, ударился башкой об скамейку и сдох.
Be very, very careful where you step here.
Так, осмотреть голову
A
мертвеца.
dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. An open wound. It's sticky and cold to your touch. This is what killed him.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you?
Тоже нет, только вот это на затылке.
Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
Посмотреть бутылку.
A .75 liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. There's hardly anything left inside.
Бутылка практически пустая.
Tear all around us.
Взгляд его становится на других бутылках, забытых кем-то возле платного бинокля, а потом на твоем желтом пакете.
I'd prefer if you didn't collect them this time. It's not proper.
Посмотреть обертку от жевательной резинки.
Grabowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall.
Заглянуть внутрь.
The blackness of death. Stench. You think you see white chewing gum too. Confirmed. Nearly the whole pack is there. Solidified on his lower rear teeth.
Привет, хиппи. Привет.
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol before going home. The worst thing is, I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
Встать на настил, нет, отступить назад.
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a step back.
Осмотреть одежду
He's
мертвеца.
wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue
Ярко-голубой
lining. There are traces
подкладкой.
of kebab sauce on his chest.
Это муж
The leather jacket suits him well. It must be
той
custom-made.
женщины.
A cool leather jacket with a bolt of blue? Oh no. This sounds terribly familiar.
Охо-хо, тут oh no. О нет, а тут охо-хо. Почему так?
You find some sunflower seeds
Читательский
and a
билет.
rain-soaked library card folded into two. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
Смотреть самого
The
мертвеца.
man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his feet is still dangling through the hole. A bad fall. It might have been dark outside. This place is a minefield in the dark. When damp, these boards are really slippery. Even a sober man could lose their balance here.
Смотреть лицо
His
мертвеца.
expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his mustache. His eyes, empty and wide, look frightening in their frozen
Теперь
gaze.
смерть есть смерть.
Height 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair, stout build. Age approximately 50 to 60 years.
Интересно, кто он такой?
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here.
Он тебя смотрит на юг, в том плане, когда мы
That's
вышли.
just a lazy assumption. What do you think?
A dead working class man with a bottle in his hand? Don't deceive yourself. You know who this is.
А ведь мы знаем, кто это. Это попавший муж политарки. Вот он, мертвый на пирсе.
The woman you met at the book stand? Why do you think it's her husband?
Это кожаная куртка, она полностью подходит под описание.
Bright blue lining? Well, he's definitely someone's husband.
Что, по-твоему, произошло?
Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be
Домой.
alive.
Это может быть связано с линчеванием?
No, I don't see anything that points in that direction. For now, let's treat this case as a simple, albeit sad, accident, unrelated to the murder case.
Agreed. If this somehow converges later, why not? But keep it simple for now.
Думаешь, он был пьян? Указать на
Oh,
бутылку.
yes.
Может, алкогольное отравление отказала печень?
Some
Да нет.
symptoms of acute alcohol poisoning could have definitely played a role here. Severe confusion, respiratory depression,
А, в этом
unpredictable
смысле.
behavior. But I think that death arrived through head trauma, not liver failure.
А как же шаурма?
What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place, maybe in the box.
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
Кто должен ответить за словно настилу? Это небезопасно.
They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition officials. I doubt that they have enough resources to actually repair the boardwalk. Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away. All it does is keep the city council's hands clean.
Да.
It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure, although there's still a question of identifying the body.
Что нам с ним делать?
From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our
Что они перевели
colleagues
как
to handle.
перекроют? The coalition officials, I doubt they'll seal this place off, and after the news reached the coalition officials, I doubt that they have enough resources to actually repair the boardwalk. Ну, примерно то же самое. Seal. Погодишь, он что-то смотрит
The
тело.
field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal, and this
Запечатаю.
looks like a simple accident to me. I'd say we should just write down head trauma in the autopsy report and leave it at that. It would save us at least 2 hours of unnecessary work.
Ты прав, не вижу здесь ничего криминального, так и поступим.
Good call. The guys at processing can take care of the rest.
Мы его нашли, нам его разбираться, взяться за
All
дело.
right. We should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from my kinema. Let them know we are taking the case.
Киллерский билет найден в кармане мертвеца на пирсе в Мартинезе. Он все еще немного влажен на ощупь, на обложке печень публичной библиотеки Джемрока. Чаек.
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The
Билли
front
Межан.
side reads, Central Gemrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean, expires July 53. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased or his family member.
Перевернуть.
If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211 or visit us at Moreau Street, 78, Jamrock. Business hours 900 to 1800.
Good. We should give them a call from my kinema. See if we can learn anything about Billy Mejean.
Good idea. There was plenty of information here to go by.
Завернуть внутрь.
Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the sun. The last one in the list is The Glinton Curve by M. Theobald. A library stamp indicates that the book has been returned. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. Some thrillers too.
Yes?
A man lies on...
Плата бинокля не обоит уже много лет.
There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin.
Смотреть тару.
2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent porter. No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor, plus some Pilsner bottles too. Better not pick them up. They seem unhygienic.
A tragedy.
Глаза слезятся от запаха. Осмотрите сигаретную пачку.
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The brand name reads Red Astra.
Осмотрите упаковку из-под
You see
шаурмы.
traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads Shish Kebab Revachol. It's no older than a day or two. No mold yet. It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air brings some relief.
Большая канистра из-под вина, открытая и пустая. Сейчас сообщите о трупе, позвоните публичному медику Джамроку, узнать о владельце человеческого билета. Вот так вот. Открытка Курон 33. На обороте этой открытки написано «Ад», что совершенно не соответствует действительности. Экономика на подъеме, Курон, лучший район западного Ревашоля, наслаждается теплым солнечным днем. Высокие красивые здания расположились вдоль реки. Под фасадом из стали, железа и известняка скользят тени от облаков. Из-под вина? Нет, в повышенных масштабах. Платные весы, ими уже лет 10 никто не пользовался. Похоже, недавно какие-то бодяги покрасили бензин красным, с него капает вода. Коррегирующие очки Мегаботан. Плюс 2 энциклопедия, минус 1 восприятие. Какой идиот придумал квадратную пластиковую оправу бежевого цвета? Она же никому не идет. К тому же, когда смотришь на мир через такие толстенные линзы, начинает подташнивать. Высокие пыльные окна, забранные решеткой.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D.
Church Development.
A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a
President
long
to it.
time ago. Now only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, tomorrow is just a whisper away.
До завтрашнего дня один лишь сдох.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
Коррегирующий, корректирующий. Еще электрощиток, сейчас ничего не подкачал, внутри пусто. Забор преграждает путь, отсюда не пройти. Вау, нифига там заначка-то неплохая. 5.25.
An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. The door hasn't been opened in a long while. you see a handle.
Сердечко чищает.
It's military.
Что это вообще такое?
A service depot of some sort.
Что он
The
снабжал?
washerwoman mentioned a depot up the coast. She said it was for moving ammo and cargo across the bay. This might be it.
Красная проверка на технику. Фига. Не будем спешить. Нужно запомнить, тиумутир, это почему-то кажется важным.
There's nothing else to do with the traps at...
Про эту проверку мог кое-что поспорить. Могу, видимо. Потрясающий хипер. Само собой, не спойлери. Естественно, ты можешь... Ты в курсе вообще там всего, наверное, в этой игре. Конечно, ничего мне не рассказывай, хиппи. Стало легче? Ты мне про все можешь поспойлерить? И чё, почему про эту проверку? Ну, сейчас просто вот именно это я решил ему рассказать. Нет, спасибо. Да, ну, замечательно. Камни покрыты желтым мхом, возможно, были украдены из какого-нибудь сада.
Hello again.
Жидкость для запуска двигателя Купри Лаунж.
The young man with the...
This is hardcore.
Помолчать.
Hardcore!
Просто молчать.
Hardcore to the mega.
Помолчать.
Internally coherent.
Я хочу спросить, не знаешь ли ты, кто убил наемника, повешенного на дереве позади станции в Тыпе?
Good morning, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yakokata, the place to be.
Почему это Якоката, это земля мечты, что это значит?
Yakokata is a hardcore place. Back to the heavyweight jam.
То есть молодой человек в массивных ботинках, как у Байдейра. В руках у него магнитофон, на серебристой пряжке ремня изображены деревья в форме человеческих лет.
Hardcore. Hardcore.
Точно ты уверен? Да.
Lakierski, materialski. Викла, true, hard, full, car.
Мы на верном пути, произносит молодой человек в массивных ботинках у Байдейра. В руках у него магнитофон, на серебристой пряжке ремня изображены деревья в форме человеческих легких.
Hardcore. Hardcore to the mega.
Ну ладно.
Here comes the night. We're close. True, hard, full, car. It's hardcore.
Не знаю, что на это ответить.
Skibber D, skibber danger. I am the rearranger. We're close. True, hardcore. Hardcore to the internally coherent.
All car, all right, yeah.
He furrows his brow as his very large head traces the sublime invisible movement of the music in the very real air of the stuffy tent.
Hardcore! Ah!
Наверное, идет он под савики совершенно очевидно не хардкорный. Нет, серьезно, мне кажется, это не
The
хардкор.
question is, what is the question?
Это было бы очень остроумно, если бы я задал тебе вопрос, но я не задавал, потом просто тупо.
But there was a question?
Дегенерат какой-то.
We're close.
Как Скэт на стрим зашел, говорит Адес. Адес, привет. Хардкор или что? Промолчать ты имеешь в виду или что?
Internally
All car, all
Чем ты
Get
занимаешься?
the people going.
Зачем?
I'm the party boy. It's my job.
Что значит тусовщик?
Hardcore party 25/7 beyond the winter's orbit style.
Huh? Oh,
I see you're here again. Offside, man. Did I mention getting us into the church will help?
Я видел наклейку на замке, можешь мне не
The
рассказать?
sticker? You mean the yellow one? Can you describe it to me?
Interesting. He wants you to describe it, though he already knows what it looks like.
Ладно, это желтый кружок, на котором нарисовано... Да, вот это обязательно наклейка в
Oh,
журнале.
wow. Right on your cop ledger. You like it?
Да, она
It
клевая.
is cool, but it's also more than that. Much more.
Noid is a bit disappointed. It's just cool.
И что не изображено?
Dead guy smiling.
Что это значит? Почему мертвец улыбается?
History. We are living in the age of history, and in the eyes of history, we are always already dead. How can we ever smile then? Because history is a lie, and so are its deaths. The present moment and life are the hardcore. The hardcore expels death. Or maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's just really ecstatic about the beats.
Уж не упоминать об этом.
He blinks, waiting for the next
Почему
question.
наклейка такая уж модерновая?
Simplicity was brought to us by classical solarist modernism, but that was a tasteful, harmonious simplicity, right? Well, hardcore is not tasteful or outwardly harmonious. It's a warning shot. This will be dangerous. The echo of man's loss haunting him. The sticker, the clothes, the music, same thing.
Ты сам придумал?
Not alone. Many people are thinking the same thing right now. There's a gathering at the Elysium. The beat is the same for all.
Ну, вы
I
исчерпали эту
guess
тему.
one could write an entire treatise on the thing. But what for?
А как сейчас проект с волнами?
Nah. Still strongly out of sync. Stage gamma disalignment. You heard me.
Что? Ты все слышал.
Hi again. Have you changed your mind? You changed your mind, right?
Я понимаю, что мной косой его не, но что не так с
He's a
Эйкомоном?
quiet man. Mostly communicates through music and by being a master of ceremonies.
Кто-кто?
You know, a host, a declaimer of slogans. He's a performer, gets the people going.
А как ты с ним общаешься?
Well, he's just kind of here. I don't really know how to communicate with him.
МС. Как ты вообще когда-нибудь с ним говорил?
Yeah, sometimes. When I stumble and find my way into his center, you have to hear a lot of hardcore to the mega first though.
The man smiles mysteriously, choosing to let the beat speak for itself. I get it. He's a puzzle.
Насчет двери, ведущих в церковь. Я придумал еще ключа, проверил обитателей церкви, давайте вот сюда.
Brilliant. Noid, the key. All right.
Спидпанк роется прикрепленным к ремню в мешочке и достает желтый ключ. Внезапно решает сделать что-то крутое и небрежным жестом бросает его в твое направление. Путь к этому хрому, поймай ключ на лету.
You sense the trajectory of the little piece of metal and plastic. The object makes a small ringing sound as it approaches. Just the tiniest chime to your left. Ka-ching! The key hits your palm. The speed freaks nod to you approvingly.
Погреется в лучах славы. Спасибо, приятель, сделать вид, что ничего особенного не
The
произошло.
speed freak nods to you. A respectful nod. You proved something here.
Понятно.
Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. As always. Huh? Huh? Nah. You heard me.
Ключ от церкви.
Hello again.
Так, они ничего про это не говорили, к слову.
A pane of
Так
death barely
что, покинуть
bolts
лес
the pane
известника.
falls into the icy snow with a soft thunk.
Половичок. Пэтбул Гроув. Твич не используешь вовсе? С чего вы это взяли? Использую.
Heavy,
Прямо сейчас на 5 человек сидит,
more than
смотрит.
twice your height stands shut.
Открыть замок
The
ключом.
lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open.
Let's go.
Потом
A
дверь
great
на
whoosh
себя.
of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum in the heart of the city.
Так. Ты сможешь вперед, но тебе понять странное спокойствие. Здесь нужно идти, а не бежать. Баузер дал бочину. Ну, может, пекач просто голд багует. Тот же узор, что снаружи, зубчатая молния. Следы короедов? Нет, похоже, какой-то специальный срок. Это давно забытый стиль. О, это статуя. Да, похоже на то. Эта готеская деревянная фигура выглядит законченной лишь наполовину. Похоже на человека, да. Рассказ заполнен сложными уравнениями, похоже, их написали недавно. Что-то связано с радиочастотами. Кто-то оставил открытый молитвенник.
The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore.
Кажется, во всем мире не осталось ничего, кроме этой церкви.
Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent.
Стоп, кажется, до сих пор что-то слышал.
And then it's gone. Almost all of it. But for the faintest of hums. It seems the sound here is detached from its source somehow, if not blotted out outright. Truly unusual.
Нет, Ленсар.
You can hardly hear your own breathing.
Топнуть ногой и хлопнуть в ладоши.
You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total.
Закачаюсь во всю глотку.
Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers.
Ну, давай.
The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything?
Почти ничего, это меня начинает пугать. Так, не, на что-то невероятное, я с подобным еще не сталкивался.
I wonder why the church was built with such strange acoustics.
Слушай, что если это что-то паранатуральное?
Please, detective, not this again.
The lieutenant.
Can you hear anything? I wonder why the
Чтобы это ни было, это в сопаду вокруг происходит нечто странное.
Doesn't reply, but you can sense him tense up next to you.
Посмотреть вверх в подъем
The
колокольни.
orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead.
Сложно вглядеться в тени.
It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows.
Интересно. Прикольно, Полицар. На потоке?
Yes. The darkness makes the ceiling feel infinitely far away.
Проследить за движениями тени.
It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more substantial as it gets closer. The shape of an animal descends.
Officer, is there something up there?
Вы что там, заметили офицер, последив за остальным взглядом, смотрится в темноту, лейтенант пытается разглядеть то, что видишь
Oh
ты.
no. You've lost sight of it. Where did it go?
Моргнуть. Еда он.
You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it.
Но устылаясь, поняв население еще больше. Каким образом, Полицар? Чаша заполнена водой, и в нее опущен провод, подключенный к сети. Может, провода используют как контактные микрофоны? Магнитофон на 2 катушки крутится в холостую. Портативный магнитофон Herman в уши. Может быть, он что-то записывает? Кто подключил внешний источник энергии к этой антенне? О, сюда куб можно засунуть.
Another radio computer. And this time it's already turned on.
Кажется, стоять у них можно осторожнее, но с машиной.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks. Alarm systems and the like. Let's be careful.
Числа попов умеют появиться население, что 250 полоску заполнить надо.
We should leave.
Интересно.
I doubt this place bears any connection to the case.
Да, но эта машина выглядит точно как так, что была в покрытой торговой зоне.
It's also quite similar to the one we have down at the station. Must be the same model.
Он изучает каркас машины, осторожно стараясь ни к чему не
The
прикасаться.
one you saw earlier was the Ream Civic. This is the Ream Prefect, a model number RC7024, equipped with a Fell mainframe and a Ream-compatible interim printer.
Подожди, дай меня забраться, подойди к
You
компьютеру.
see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connected to the central compartment is wide open. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. You're free to proceed. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says, in black marker, log, February to March. Another filament memory. Press play to talk with the repeater.
Потом. Красные башмаки мескийского гангстера, плюс 1 эмпатия. Какая-то странная церковь, больше похожа на какой-то зал собраний. Только путают деревянную и резную колонну своей паутиной. Да или типа, знаете, суд, потому что эти вот они по бокам стоят почему-то. Видишь, стеклянная панель цветная. Мороз украсил стекло цветами, и теперь ничего не видно. Шелковый шарф мескийского гангстера. Мескийские гангстеры. Большой красный шарф, все еще покрытый церковной пылью. На нем тонкими красными нитями вышиты петухи и мескийские цветочные мотивы. Красные башмаки мескийского гангстера. На щегольские туфли из чешуйчатой кожи нанесен почти невидимый цветочный узор белым по белому. Носки все еще покрыты церковной пылью. На замерзшем окне кто-то нарисовал оленя. Ночной клуб. Так, стоп. Давайте эмпатии себе добавим. Мастер переобуться на ходу. Поехали.
The shadow is a man made of the same stuff as the carpentry of the building. He is studying you intently. The crab man.
Помолчать и нарушать тишину.
The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Тиаго.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
Куда нужно?
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Я полицейский. Я хочу задать несколько вопросов, которые связаны с моей работой. Я ничего не знаю по статистике
Oh
алкоголя.
yeah, sure. You don't know anything about alcohol use. You got it all under control, Way. I could smell the control all the way over here.
У меня все в порядке, спасибо.
I know it's hard to admit that you got a problem. I was like you once. Couldn't take an honest look into my own heart and see I was in pain.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Мне почему-то кажется, в этом ты прав.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother.
Пустошь реальности.
I'm only the messenger, Holmes.
Его голос эхом дается в холодном воздухе церкви.
This is the church of the mother of silence. You are welcome here.
Лингвик раскачивается на перекладинах, ожидая, пока ты усвоишь
You
информацию.
have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Is he just trying to throw you off your game? Whatever it is, he's quite confident about it. Just look how gracefully he sways. 'Tis not an act, my liege. Save him perchance, he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
Ты должен быть и есть тот самый человек-краб.
Never known myself to be a crab. But if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it.
Честно говоря, ты больше похож на паука.
I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be that I gotta work on my technique.
Кем ты буду только стать
I was in
человеком-крабом?
a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone.
Я тоже потерял память, и мне это нравится. Тебе как будто создаю себя заново, начиная с чистого листа.
That's not really the point, I say. You gotta give yourself over to service. Service of the mother.
Томас,
that
привет.
is.
Do you remember your name, sir?
Tiago's my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but also your place amongst your fellows, your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore.
Меня зовут Гарри, потянуть руку в
That's
приветствии.
just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters.
Что вы здесь делаете?
This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. A way out into nothingness. This church was built around it for purposes of veneration. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly.
Не про серость ли говорит? Что это за матерь тишина, которую ты постоянно говоришь?
Oh, that's no simple question, I said. She is one who can be painted or sculpted. She is a cavity in the dark, beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will.
Что произойдет, когда ты попадешь к
I
проколу?
will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with the state of the world before reality began.
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about that.
Может, вот заменяешь один наркотик
It's
другим?
not like that at all, man. It's just faith and joyful service.
Too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you. To his very own self.
Вера тоже наркотик.
I heard that before, Way. And I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think, when's the last time you woke up from silent communion with a hangover, regretting what you did last night?
Кажется, потерянная любовь, это просто
She
похмелье.
took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a drop compared to the ocean of the mother's love. The mother will eat all of you and never spit you out.
Да, снес на то, что мы придерживаемся разных взглядов.
I know it will take time. Don't sweat it.
Я вообще не понимаю, что ты делаешь в
I'm a
церкви.
seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory.
А какой смысл петь эти песни, если она тебе тишины?
I don't mean literal singing, Holmes. This is the mother of silence we're talking about. It's the singing of a burning heart. You may be thinking, but fire crackles. No, Holmes. That's the material that's burning. The flames themselves are without sound.
Короче, что это место, тут
Hard to
церковь.
say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the church was. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, Way. It didn't belong to me.
Это твое указать на шаф и обувь, кто ты нашел здесь?
I think they were. A long time ago. I had to shed them like skins to get closer to the center of the silence. You could have them. I don't need them anymore.
They look pretty dapper, actually.
Ладно, у меня есть еще
The
вопросы.
sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending.
Ты здесь
into the
давно, не
shadows.
знаешь, почему церковь заброшена?
Police raid a while back.
Отвечает он, его голос вдруг становится
Did you
безжизненным.
witness it?
Not really. Or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. It lets you forget about everything.
Хм. Рейверы хотят превратить это место в ночной клуб.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Guessing they're the ones who call me a crab.
А им
Probably
им
scared of
стоит бояться?
Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore. Anyway.
А что ты думаешь по поводу клуба?
Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go. Might even be nice to have some company.
Прикольно. Ты знаешь, есть сейчас другой жутик, указать на старую машинку, которая нарисована
Other
вокруг.
spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa.
Понятия не имею, дружище.
Don't know, Holmes.
The Aita is grandma?
Погоди, то есть в церкви действительно живет кто-то еще, и это Вия Ита?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear.
И ты не знаешь, где она
That's
сейчас?
what I said, Holmes.
Как ты можешь не знать, вы же оба живете
Don't really
тут.
follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests.
Ты можешь ничего еще раз по ней рассказать, как она выглядит, что делает, что она
I'm
вообще
afraid
такая?
not, essay. You just have to wait until she comes back, or...
Он пожимает
Or
плечами.
search through her radio computer.
Ну, ладно, спасибо. Странный чувак. Пустошь реальность -2, грубая сила, бессонница, временный бонус за исследование. От твоего внимания не ускользнул тот факт, что ты алкоголик, и что это болезнь, и она тебя убивает. Ты ползешь по жизни на коленях, волоча по земле раздутые от браги брюха. Твои мысли то заплетаются, то несутся бешеным галопом, волосы слиплись от сегодняшней испарины и вчерашней блевоты. Наверное, они действительно правы. Что угодно лучше, чем такое, даже суровая реальность. Может, ты сумеешь бросить? 20 часов нужно исследовать. Круто. Я бы это изучил. Ну, джимворкская охота, мне кажется, уже так себе. Будет находить более качественные предметы в запертых контейнерах. Типа, чё? Там есть рандом какой-то. Мне казалось, все предопределено. Ну, видимо, денег больше находим просто. Стоит вообще время тратить на такой минус 2 силы. Ну, возможность бросить алкоголь, да, звучит прикольно. Ну вот это тоже так себе. Логика элемента улучшения повышается до 5, сила воли повышается до 5. Варианты моралистов диалога дают +1 к боевому духу. С другой стороны, морализм мне как бы нравится. Вообще нужен предмет в этой игре, оно чего и рандомное. Ну да, да, согласен, давайте джимворкскую охоту забудем. Грубая сила 0. Что если дебаф выйдет нам боком? Тогда вообще мысли не надо никакие брать, потому что все может выйти нам боком. Мы же не знаем.
In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you.
Желтые легкие у нее.
A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad. A dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel.
Нет.
Cold wind seeps in from the crack in the glass. Snowdrifts cover the floorboards at your feet. Above, you feel her multicolored eyes on you, inspecting you.
Посмотреть наверх.
The woman looks down at you, standing there. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. There is a sad smile on her lips and a glint in her green-blue eye. Of what? Compassion? Remorse? She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive.
Сострадание.
As that soft word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder. Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times as you stand in the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles, her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass.
Это Dolores Day.
The old woman in the village was right. This must be the Delorean Church of Humanity in Martinez, or the small Pinewood Church in some records. It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by first-generation settlers.
Что еще ты знаешь об этом?
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Sept Sœurs, they call them. The 7 sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the revolution or used for building materials. We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find anything connected to the lynching here. Something else, perhaps?
При словах он смотрит на оставленное вокруг оборудование.
Is the lieutenant a follower of Delorianism?
Кем-то Делорианец?
Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are Delorian in origin.
Поделить
The
подбородок.
woman looks by in silence, smiling enigmatically.
Не думал, что религиозен.
It's not spiritual, it's constitutional. The Delorian system does not demand faith, only accordance.
Энциклопедия.
The mother of humanism.
Откуда я знаю, что это мать гуманизма?
Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. The innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps the most famous human
проверки с ней больше не
being ever
сохранят.
lived. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men.
Что вообще такое следующее? Я читал одну книжку, поэтому там было как-то
The highest
написано размыто.
category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world's spirit.
Правитель.
More, an innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. The legal system of the Real Belt is built to accommodate innocent rule should it coincide with our time. An innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. An innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is an honor and a glory to live when one is
Сейчас у нас есть Светоч?
No, we are alone.
Ясно, когда направила?
300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi. She is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel and the connected world.
Я жду цветы. Ну, что еще мне по ней известно?
Many things. You know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene La Navigateur, Queen of Seren, modern-day Sir La Clé. Also, that she was gorgeous beyond beauty.
Тут как бы не совсем не сахар. Тут больше не религиозный смысл. Хорошо, что еще она умный.
Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A simple grasp in matters of philosophy, theology, and science was encouraged. She was, by all means, a kept woman. She made the most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was becoming the era's preeminent philosopher of the state, a scalpel, a piercing gaze. She was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heels. Even before she was declared an innocence, her influence was tremendous. It was on her advice that Irene La Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. A costly, often tragic endeavor, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new world, the piece of reality you're standing on. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the greatest era in history. The DeLorean era. Wow, indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing in her chest. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt.
Колдовство. Было ли в ней что-нибудь пугающее?
Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory, or what remains of it. But although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, there was something ominous about Dolores Day, constantly surrounded by her terriers. She was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal for the campaigns she waged against the Mesk state. And then there were the resettlement programs.
Пород собак. Не знаю, Фоксом, что тут имеется в виду. А что
The
произошло?
Mesk state tried to detach itself from inacentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerated into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite were problematic as well. Dissenters were suppressed by a military force she called the Army of Humanity,
Класс.
suggesting those who fight against it are not part of humanity. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you have ever seen, with green eyes the color of the Pacentic, mare interregnum. Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely, paranoid, and even terrifying that people seldom mention, but feel when they think of her. This subtle terror is part of her iconography.
Lieutenant Yefreiter, you've stood there for over 5 minutes.
Спокойный голос лейтенанта эхом отражает в холодном воздухе
What are
церкви.
you thinking of, if I may ask?
Да ни о чем, просто осматриваюсь.
Okay. It's just that you've been looking at that window for quite long now. And it's cold in here.
Лол.
This church, the coast in general, we shouldn't linger here. This isn't a good place to get lost in.
Визуальный анализ.
The mother of humanism stands
Восстановить
above you.
витраж.
A jigsaw of broken shards
Oh.
falls into place in front of you. A ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there
Секундочку,
was
ребят.
an older woman beneath the young woman. And a text. A light motif below them both.
Так, господа, сейчас мы продолжим. Маленький перерывчик. Малюсенький совсем. Так, все, господа, простите, пожалуйста, за эту паузу. Мы заказывали поесть, чтобы поесть. Потому что человек есть, чтобы есть. Не забывайте об этом никогда. Так. Почему-то мозаика разбилась.
Unknown. A motor carriage. A gunshot. Someone falling into it. Or maybe just hooligans looking for something to break.
Кто-то женщина постарше в центре.
The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden Reichsapfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen her innocent stay advised. Above, she herself is whole. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, 30 years, stand in a row.
Охрана карьеры.
It must have taken years to produce this work in all its dizzying detail.
Девиз, что там написано?
Below both women, in luminous black letters, après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau. And then, along the left side, après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, le monde de nouveau.
Видимо, как здесь было написано за жизнью смерть, за
Death, life
смертью
again.
снова жизнь.
After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan.
А что?
It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. We already suspected of bootlicking. The sentence was also seen as too feminine. It was a macho thing.
А какой сейчас у РГМ девиз?
Justice, union, prudence, and force.
Как скажете?
Ice cool.
Как скажете, это cool, офигенно переведено. Клево. Круче не бывает. Ступить назад.
The mother of humanism. The machine's keyboard is still
Печать.
nothing happens.
Воспроизвести.
The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you. Her voice sounds 100 years old.
Good evening.
О, та же самая.
This is the East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
It's the same old woman you spoke with through the radio computer in the doomed commercial area.
И вон, снова я, как поживаете?
Good, thank you. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
Фото акцидент, когда компания поклята в торговой зоне.
I have two machines registered to this company name in Martinez. One on Saint-Brun, the other on Rue de Saint-Ghislaine.
Saint-Brun, that's the church. And Rue de Saint-Ghislaine, that's the doomed commercial area.
Anything else I can help you with?
Я заглянул в видон, но на узлом блоке памяти написано только журнал Февмах.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer. Maybe he knows something.
Я не знаю пароль.
Received. I will register this login attempt. Fortress accident. Is there anything else?
Спасибо, на то у меня все.
Sleep well, Fortress accident.
Качается она, ее голос остается в
The
гуле
machine's
помех.
keyboard is still
Тиаго, что там с паролем?
Oh, hey, wait. There's coffee in the back. Oh, wait. I meant the mother's love.
coffee in the back. Something familiar about that. coffee and stale cookies.
Что там говорит про кофе? Что знакомое, где-то я уже
Look,
слышал.
man, I'm at liberty to talk about the sacred blaze of the mother's glorious heart, but not about the coffee.
Еще не слышу, чтобы Виетта называл компьютер
Too
паролем.
many times, essay, you need it for something.
Да, это необходимо для расследования особо тяжкого преступления убийства, совершенного в Мартинезе.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrow, but doesn't say anything.
Don't sweat it, vato. The password is afterlife death.
Неплохо.
Why you think of that? Makes me almost pity la Nilita pequeña. I think we're done here, essay.
That was an
Фигура скрывается с тем
interesting
под потолком.
conversation. However, I'm still not sure how it's relevant to our investigation.
Ким, хватит сомневаться в моих дедуктивных способностях. Ты где? В церкви?
The machine's keyboard, the speaker comes to life.
Good evening.
Попробуем еще раз.
Good. Please repeat the password.
За жизнь и смерть.
Good. I have unlocked the filament. After ending the call, please press print to access the filament. Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
Отлично.
Sleep well, Fortress accident.
The machine's keyboard is still. The printer prints out a long text document with dated paragraphs. It looks a bit like someone's journal.
Почитайте
The first
распечатку.
entry, made on the 4th of February, 51, by an unknown author, is short and concise. Arrived at the church. The door was boarded up, so I used the crowbar to get inside. Looks like the place has been deserted. Nothing out of the ordinary, but I'll ask around. Need to figure out how to get the electricity in. The lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder. Just as you finish reading, he looks up, muttering under his breath.
4th of February. That's over a month ago. Whoever set up those machines has been here for quite a while.
Как думаешь, жена может быть связана с нашим
Our
делом?
case? No, I don't think so. It must be some local eccentric.
Eccentric. Почитай вторую запись.
6th of February, 51. Had a little chat with the local fishermen. Said I shouldn't go near that place, that the church was spooky and ridden with narcotics. It's a little spooky, all right. Still haven't figured out the electricity.
Третья запись.
7th of February, 51. Finally got the electricity in. Next on the agenda, a new antenna. I'm thinking Esca series, something advanced.
Зачем мне
Why
антенна?
would anyone need any of this equipment here?
Наступает наброшенный на полу кабель, шевелит его ботинком. Почитай четвертую запись.
8th of February, 51. Bought the antenna, had some problems setting it up. Called Simo for help. Heard the others are back to making art. Drinking somewhere out of town. Sulislav started a rock band again. Lexi has been seen asking money from strangers. But at least the artists have their act together. They're qualified labor.
К слову, время
They
дальше
can
не
get
идет,
work
оно
anywhere.
застыло на 2
Graphic design,
часах ночи.
ads. The programmers are doing fine too. I mean, they're programmers. The writers, though, they're fucked.
Они же программисты, вот писатели этих все
I just
хреново.
have to find out what caused that data loss and be done with it. Still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know. Everyone thinks it's impossible. They say I must be lying. I'm here to set it right.
Потеря данных?
Seems like something to do with radio computers. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about them to understand what the author is saying. Something about the backup data getting destroyed, and how everyone thought it was the author's fault. Let's just keep reading.
Художник-программист Лекси, кто все
I
эти
think
люди?
these people worked in the radio computer games business. The one we saw in the Doom commercial area. They must be our former co-workers.
Почитать пятую запись.
12th of February, 51. Brought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike going on in the harbor. Definitely not happy to see the Martinez people again. Everything's now set up in the church. Going to start working tomorrow, 8 a.m.
The strike. We are nearing the date of the murder. Keep reading. I'm interested now. I want to know what's that radio anomaly that sent this person here in the first place.
25th of February, 51. I've been sending data up to Lintel for a while now, trying to recreate the data loss, but nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in, the disappointment. But I did discover a curious audio-spatial anomaly at the back of the church. I've named it the Swallow. It swallows sound. Need to get some mics.
Is she talking about?
28th of February, 51. Yes, the first recordings confirm that the Swallow is real, and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence, with a diameter of approximately 3 meters. Seems like the higher I go, the less I record. This might be a coincidence, or it could be connected to the data loss that led me here.
The pillar of silence. She is talking about the silence. Is she suggesting it's more than just an architectural quirk?
Но что это может быть такое? Посреди чаши с водой позади.
The lieutenant doesn't answer. He follows your gaze, studying the basins. The water shines in them. No ripples.
Почитать 8-ю запись.
March 51. Some kind of young disco men have appeared next to the church. I've been trying to record the silence to find the epicenter, but now it turns out I've also been capturing the future of dance music, one neo-disco song over and over again. Fortunately, the song is so monotonous, I was able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. Before I could even say hello, she got scared and left. Good. I don't want anyone distracting me from my work.
Она, кстати, игнорирует того чувака, летающего, это, по потоку бегающего. Наверное, имеет в виду Ассель.
Girl on the ice? Sounds like her, yes.
Почти 9-ю запись.
March 51. I got a call from the repeater station. Someone has tried to access the radio computer in our old office in Martinez. Can't do anything about it. The storekeeper still doesn't want to let me inside the building. Thinks I'm part of some kind of curse. How Martinez of her.
Может, близуха не замечает? Может быть. Это про меня, то я пытался взломать тут радиокомпьютер. Хозяйка магазина должно быть плезанция.
I knew it wasn't a good idea to meddle with that machine.
No. It was a great idea. You're learning things. This is how you learn things about machines.
Почитай 10-ю запись.
March 51. A new 2-meter aux cable. Noodles. Crackers. Ping-pong energy drinks. Water. Toothpaste. Gum. Also, some canned air. Your reading is interrupted by the sound of the church door opening. A strange woman makes straight for the radio computer.
Солона программистка. Отлично, направляюсь прямиком к радиокомпьютеру. Пристально смотрит на тебя, держи при этом кнопку выколу. Стоит ступи загружается.
Yes, you are breaking in, but not into her radio computer. You're a master circuit bender.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
Секундочку. Уже. Ща. Блин, меня нос мучается, господа. Прошу прощения. Ща. И уверяю вас, я опытный радиозвончик, я не взломал ваш компьютер, я лишь использую его для доступа к военным каналам коалиции. Что за жесть? Мы не просто взламываем его, я пытаюсь раскрыть загадочную тайну и найти свою потерянную личность. Они ответ в клавиатуру, ты слышишь, как машина гудит, возвращаясь к жизни.
We should talk to her after she has rebooted the machine.
Здравствуйте, спасибо, не сахар. Тут мне интересно, а почему время остановилось? То есть, типа, все, ГГ? Или что, мы сейчас выйдем, вырубимся? 2 часа ночи как бы застыло. Давайте завтра вернемся, я думаю, уже. Серость остановила время. Думаешь?
It's getting cold. This late in the night. Time to call it a day.
Спокойной ночи, Ким, остаться на ночь.
Good night, officer. We'll meet in front of the shack in the morning.
Все можно объяснить серостью. Это да. Но не спеши спать, надо пойти с девах ползать. Нельзя скачать талант стримера.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's in your mind, officer?
Внушение. Ты же ходил газетного заголовка? Не знаю.
The sea's gonna calm down soon. I can
Ей
feel
нужно
it.
пойти на свидание с еще одним алкашом, срочно.
Oh yes, she does. You need to get your drink on. There is no other way for human beings to procreate. Not after 6,000 years of yeast cultivation-based mating rituals.
Ты умирал? Нет, не лазер. Алкоголь делает близость возможность, да, установим связь.
Alcohol? Connect? I'm not sure I'm following you.
Да, вместе пьемся вдрызг на свидание, на первом свидании, тебе понравится, обещаю.
That's a good impression. You really cracked me up, officer. Now, how can I help you?
She doesn't even understand. You asked her out. Perhaps you're too sober to pull it off right now. Try again later.
Слишком трезв.
It's getting late and... On the table, you see a bowl of water. An old mirror hangs on the bed is comforting. Across the room, the heating system hums its soft lullaby. The mattress feels soft and sheets warm. It only takes you moments for the world to fall away.
О, нормальный сон неужели будет?
Thoughts, baby. A million little lights in the dark. You're one fine instrument, brother. All those faces and all those names. All that laughter and screaming and scheming around. Every corner and every street.
Recorded in you. Forever. On Faraday.
Находится в вечности.
On and on it goes. For untold hours. At the disco where you first asked her to dance. Rising. Rising. Above the dark curvature. The great wingspan of sleep. Studded with stars.
Behold, there are millions of them down there. The first time. The last time. The smoke in her mouth. The plotted flowers. The faces turning, changing.
Что это?
It's the world, Harry boy. And you're made of it.
Harry boy.
Every day you're out there, you make more of yourself from it. I'm afraid you can't be unmade now.
Например, клуб
You
Hero.
can never forget this shit.
Цвета, голоса.
All stuck on loop. Whirling, spitting out words and images.
You're the son of the world again. Harrister, a ceaseless agent. Picking up litter and old newspapers. Collecting your little bubblegum wrappers and idiotic picture postcards. Meaningless, meaningless keepsakes.
Reading your awful letters and recalling things, aren't you? The endless names of the world. An address book you are. The map of a city.
Именно, я вижу движущая сила мира.
Insane if you keep going like this. One more day, and you'll be in the loony bin. I just know you will. And for what, brother man?
For the money, baby. For the greater good.
Solving your little crossword puzzles. Doing your tasks. Crossing names off lists. Trying to become some sort of world detector. It won't make it okay. It won't put smoke back in her mouth.
Мы продвигаемся вперед, медленно, но верно. Но вот опять он начинает. Какой наш неукротимый политик Гарри до сих пор не может понять, что это мир меняет его. Ощипать щекой подушку.
Beep, beep, beep. The alarm is ringing, Harry. The disco circus goes on and on. You barely slept 3 hours last night.
You can do it. It's nothing. Do it for the city. Go. Do it for the picture puzzle. Put it all together. Solve the world. One conversation at a time.
Открыть глаза.
Good. You're up. Listen, there's something that's been bothering you for a few days now.
Что?
It's a suspicion, or a feeling really, that things are not quite in hand around here. An earth-shattering deduction from your psyche. What will those guys come up with next? Every day, things seem to spin more and more wildly, out of control. The center isn't holding. And despite your efforts to moderate and contain these energies, things only seem to be getting
в целом неплохо.
Oh, sure. You've been making progress on your case, interviewing people, solving side tasks. But Who's focusing on the big questions?
Не похоже, что это мое дело.
Open your eyes. Stop getting distracted by details. It's time you started focusing on what really matters.
И что мне делать?
You've got to find out who bears la responsabilité.
Видишь, именно такое la
The most
responsabilité.
awesome, terrible thing.
Жуткое
It
чудо.
is human nature to crave la responsabilité and to deny it. That's why it must be distributed across many different organizations, agencies, offices, and portfolios.
Я думал, конечно, в итоге меньше на ком ответственность. Ну, за убийство.
Harry, you're thinking about this too narrowly. La responsabilité isn't concerned with trivial questions like who killed who. It's about the real issues. The human welfare index, the price of staple goods, the transition to real democracy.
Ладно, давай сюда, я понесу ответственность.
Whoa. This isn't some kind of dictatorship. You can simply seize la responsabilité for yourself. It must be given by legitimate authority, like a committee.
А где у нас точно есть на это время?
There's always time to follow best practices. Once someone's decided to cut corners for the sake of expediency, who knows what else they're capable of?
Во сне упоминается, что мы реально делали. Если бы вы не упоминали алканавта, ушедшего в Альгау после скамейки, был бы 100% уверен.
Swift, decisive action.
У нас слишком много событий, не сахар было за день.
A little self-dealing.
Погоди, у нас точно есть... Так, и кто будет стоять в этой комиссии?
The most even-keeled minds in Martinez. Your half-brother, the lieutenant, is a natural place to start. Together, you'll be able to discover who has la responsabilité in Revachol. And, if necessary, you'll have the wisdom and expertise to assign it among yourselves.
И что будет, когда мы возложим
Most
ответственность?
likely, your findings will be collected in a report, which will be carefully reviewed by your superiors.
Но труп чувака явно не то, что можно отбросить.
Once they've reviewed it, those same superiors will produce a set of recommendations to be taken up at the next meeting of the Standing Committee. Rest assured, no matter what happens, it will be done through the proper channels.
Я готов взять на себя это великолепное бремя.
Good luck. Your report is eagerly anticipated.
Окей. Типа, мы даже не просто следовать убийству, а еще и какой-то глобальный вывод сделать, да? Светить комитет молитвы для распределения обязанностей. Возможно, Ким знает, с чего начать. Интересно.
On the table is...
Витрина с безделушками. Это в ломбарде, по-моему.
Yes?
Ким, нам нужно поговорить про ответственность.
I'm glad to hear it, detective. I was wondering when we'd get to this very subject.
В каком смысле?
If you ask me, it's high time for you to set aside these frivolous side tasks and focus 100% of your energies on the case before us.
Не-не, я имею в виду la responsabilité, ну ту, которую
Why are
возлагают.
you pronouncing it like that gentleman from the Institute of Price Stabilité? You know what? Forget it. What specifically are you trying to assign responsibility for?
За убийство?
But isn't that our job?
Нет, здесь множество нюансов, целый пласт исторических и социоэкономических аспектов.
Now I understand.
Лейтенант серьезно
Next,
кивает.
I suppose you're going to tell me you need to form a committee to assign this responsibility.
Как ты узнал?
Simple. Because moral intern types love to form committees. In any event, I am just a humble law official. I may work under the moral intern's umbrella, but I'm certainly not qualified to serve on any committee. You know who might be, though? That Mr. Villedroit, the gentleman you met in the young man's apartment. If I were trying to get in touch with the coalition, I would start by seeking him out. But first you might need to speak with his young companion. Now, was there anything else?
Воскресного долга.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I
Я
help
нашел
you
эту
with?
куртку, но она грязная. Не могли бы вы выстирать ее для
I
меня?
can wash it for you, but it's going to take about a half an hour. Think you can stay put for that long?
Hell yeah.
I could use a breather before another rainy day begins.
Да, подожду.
Well, hand it over then, and I'll see what I can do.
Странно, что мы не можем в это время бегать где-нибудь.
Merci. I'm proud of this one. It's pretty nice underneath all that filth. I hope you take better care of it than its last owner.
До свидания, мне пора. Штормовка фаун от фаун. Это штормовка словно защитный кокон. Твое тело оказывается в собственной маленькой вселенной, куда не могут проникнуть ни ветер, ни вода, ни грязь, ни огонь. На груди гордо красуется огромная надпись 100% синтетика. Ткань не выпустит внутрь ни одной молекулы воздуха. Внимание, от огня на самом деле не защищает. +1 болевой порог, защита от непогоды. +1 сумрак, горячее сердце. -1 драма, пот льет ручьем. Круто.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone.
А кошка Лили, это
like
ваша
other
сестра за этот дом? Да?
Yes,
Ладно.
yes.
Я что-то у детишек хотел спросить. А, мы с Куной же хотели поболтать. О, да.
Hello, mister. Bye.
Is that the phasmid? It looks like the phasmid, leaning against the wall.
Подразу подсказка к
It's
фазмиду.
not the phasmid. It's not even organic. It's a fire iron. How disappointing.
Конечно, не фазмид, капитан для
Don't be
фазмида.
too hard on yourself. You couldn't have known that for sure. And besides, finding this phasmid is your special destiny. You can feel it.
Отложить мечты о встрече с тополийским фазмидом пока что. Лол. Что тебе сдался, была бы единая дубинка без свидетелей. Кто, Куна? Он что-то там может знать, не сахар. Я нашел твою куртку.
Tequila Sunset.
Что ж, вот твоя куртка,
My
свежевыстиранная.
jacket?
Да, она была довольно грязная, так что я ее
A
почистил.
look of consternation crosses the man's face. He looks at you, then at his bottle, then back at you.
What the fuck are you talking about, Tequila?
То есть ты хочешь сказать, что это не твоя куртка?
Foam? That's medium concept stuff. Not my style at all. I can't believe I'm saying this, but maybe you should lay off the booze. It's fucking with your head.
It becomes abundantly clear to you how this man managed to lose his keys, business, friends, and girlfriend. I'm calling it. It's neurological.
Ну, как хочешь, оставлю куртку себе.
That shit is so medium concept, I wouldn't touch it with a stick. But yeah, okay. I'm sure it looks great on you.
It's an okay jacket, if you are into that look. Okay, let's step aside for a second. I have something I want to talk about. I've been meaning to have a little chat with you about your sense of style.
О моем стиле, а что с ним не так?
It's just, well, you look more like a high-flying businessman than a police officer.
That's right. You're an entrepreneur of the peace, here to disrupt legacy law enforcement with buzzwords and privatization schemes.
Ну что ж, никогда не знаешь, в какой момент может понравиться. Так, это не совсем то, чего я хотел добиться.
Then maybe you should change your look. You know the expression, the clothes make the man? The right outfit in the right situation can make all the difference in the world.
Блин, звук исчез. Ну ладно, ты вроде следишь за модой, будем с тобой стильными корешами.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, detective. Anyway, we should probably get back to the case. Let's go.
Там, типа намекает, что ему не одевают куртку. Кстати, довольно круто выглядят эти куртки. Так, на много что сделать, на самом деле. Дело вообще дофига. Возможно, имею в виду бомжатский пакет с пустыми бутылками. Возможно. Сначала куртка стала не его. Думаешь, ему нужно было грязно ее вернуть? Найди поистине крутую фигурку в коробке под столом. Ты услышал о всаднике Фаун. Всадник Фаун без головы.
Indeed. I think I even have his cap somewhere down here. A tiny miniature fawn cap to go with it. Yours for 50 cents.
Так, бомжатский пакет с пустыми бутылками может считаться словом бизнесмен. По-моему, напрямую, Фоксэм. Я же их продаю. Он не объясняет, что это значит, и вряд ли объяснит. Фигурка всадник без головы от Фаун.
Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky? Always carry it with you.
Ухмыляется он. Пластиковый всадник без головы верхом на таком же пластиковом быке. Его поза выражает то ли отчаяние, то ли гордость. На бое с ним также идет печально известная шляпа Фаун, из-за которой он и потерял свою голову. Голова в набор не входит. Хм. Считай, что это и есть наш бомжатский бизнес. В каком-то роде.
Hello, hello.
Почему бомжатский бизнес как бизнес? В каком-то роде я и сам немного бизнесмен. Да-да-да.
Stylish shades, huh? They'd be even.
Опа. Fuck the world. Самый жесткая вот такая это.
If I were a real skull now, I'd jack it, paint it in palm tree livery, then bottom light it, neon style.
Все, это товарищ, на спине у которого на пустой налегатный лозунг «Чертям мир».
A snazzy shit-ripped skullmobile like this would make a fine trophy. We could, like, hang fucking shrunken heads from the side mirrors. Cops' heads. Scary tribal shit.
Мусорские бошки, туземная такая тема, все аж
Yeah, tribal shit. A cop carriage like this would have proper skull value.
While I appreciate the interest you take in my brutal motor carriage, I have to stop you right there. The RCM takes threats directed at its property seriously.
It's just theoretical work, Copper. No basis in reality. Man, if we were certified skulls right now...
Кто такие?
I can tell you who we're not, cop. We're not snitches, flow bears, or skulls.
Which is not to say that the skulls are bitches and... On the contrary.
The part of this presentation you want to take home with you, cop man, is we're not part of the skulls yet.
Okay then, let's indulge in some intellectual exchange. These young men seem eager to share their beliefs.
Кто такие чайпа?
You don't know? What kind of cop are you?
It's not a question. Don't get into it.
Знаю, конечно, просто хотел вас
The
проверить.
skulls are the most vicious gang of the Besmertne.
О, кис-кис пришли. А что если предложить им починить твою тачанку? Надо ее сначала реанимировать, не сахар. Кис. Да, блин, киса. Запуталась в проводах. Вот, все, давай.
The nastiest bunch of psychos ever. Jacking carriages and getting into high-speed chases.
Possessing an infinite amount of fuck-all swagger, infamous for their non-verbal modus operandi.
Невербальным.
If a skull spots you, he will pull out his dagger and stab you without saying a word.
The lieutenant's voice is as calm as usual, a testament to the violence and death he's witnessed through the sight of his firearm.
Типопики. Довольны. Так это вся штука. Пусть сами путаются, может пока что терять. Интересная версия, не сахар.
They usually occupy the burnt-out quarter in Jamrock, or you can find them loitering around their brightly painted bottom-lighted vehicles.
I can't wait to become a skull. Bottom lights are wretched aggressive.
Вы что, не знаете об убийстве, которое произошло здесь 5 лет назад? Над глазами двоих танцев в притепе повесили человека.
Yeah, sure. We'll gladly tell you everything we know about it. It was a man.
Also, he was hanged.
Не уводи меня, я закон.
He was hanged from a tree.
Yeah, I mean, duh.
These punks don't know anything. Let's just move along.
Hey, stop right there. How does one know anything?
Я не собираюсь больше вас развлекать.
Sure. Understandable. Fuck, and I appreciate your effort, though.
Синичеев, знаете такую
Oh,
парня?
yeah. Cindy's a right proper skull.
Говорит, мы исполним тоски и желания голоса.
Yeah, a true artist of the future. Just like Arno van Eyck.
By the way, if you see Cindy, give her our regards.
Говорят, он вернувшись из мира своих
For
фантазий.
all their nihilistic posturing, these young men are not lacking in youthful idealism. The lieutenant on your left is unusually lenient toward them.
Я вижу, увлекаетесь анодной национальной музыкой, эти
Oh
дички.
man, yeah. We're not fucking kids, man.
Эй, девки, у тебя детишки.
Be wary of the abyss.
Бежать хочешь? Беги, кис, беги. Сопутствующий урон по вебке. А что?
Probably because of how non-verbal their mode of operation is going to be. It's a threat.
Голос хорошо, это я люблю.
But I don't. In fact, I dislike them so much I'm willing to drag you boys back to the station just to calm myself down.
Hey, there's no need for that. We're just talking here. Joking too. Stay light, man.
Yeah. Didn't you cops, like, have some questions about skulls or some shit?
Почему в Мартинезе больше нет
The
чайпов?
Union does their share of policing in Martinez, at least where gangs are concerned. That's why there isn't much organized crime around here.
Apart from the unions themselves, of course.
Don't you worry about that. We're gonna make up for the deficit.
Yeah, we are.
Что все запутаются? Такой из чипов или нет?
We're not franchise skulls. Well, not yet. Once we get our name out there, we'll have a chance to join them.
И что, взяли, что они вас возьмут?
Because we can be just as psycho and vicious. You'll see.
But in a non-threatening and definitely legal way.
Выставляешь то, что ты шепчешь своему
We'll
другу.
fuck the system from the inside later. Just be cool now. The damage will be tenfold.
Right on, fuck. So what's happening now?
Хватит тогда быть чипа. Что у вас за куртки?
What about them?
Почему на куртке написано «ссаный паровозер»?
Well, first off, it's a statement and not necessarily something that characterizes me as a person, even though the statement has character. And I do like piss. The word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Things being defined as they seem, not as they are. And, I guess, it's also about communal spirit, the future, and truly appreciating our differences. Also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is slowly but steadily moving towards basing the economy on it, attention, it is imperative that the medium itself convey the message.
Логично.
What I mean by this is, we are all piss and that the world is inherently meaningless.
Почему тут по-русски темноволосый? Почему тебе на куртке написано «к чертям мир»?
Like I said before, many men keep searching for the one. For so-called true love, which is actually just obsession masquerading as kinship. The thrill of the chase. The hollowness that fills your chest cavity after catching it. To catch a fish, you'll need to hurl the lure many times. And even then, it isn't certain that you'll get anything. If you blow up the lake, though...
Взрывай. Это кошмарная метафора.
You
Взрывай.
get more fish in a shorter time. And... for time is of the essence and fleeting ever so quickly. One must think of a way to fuck the whole world and not get caught up in fucking some one. Because when one fucks everything, he fucks nothing. And that, to me, feels glorious. Sticking your dick into the void.
Hate to admit it, but in a weird way, he's got a point. Is it a coincidence that here we have 2 badass jackets and 2 badass cops?
Слушай, Ким, понизить голос. Так, ладно, поделен совпадение.
Your lack of imagination is baffling, but you do make up for it with, yes, questions.
Сумрак легко сейчас попросить куртки для себя и для лейтенанта. Продемонстрируя его власть, а не просто второсортная подделка под черепов.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Так. Что-нибудь узнал о владельце
Still
противника?
no word, I'm afraid, sir. I know it must be frustrating. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Мне нужно сообщить о трупе на пирсе
One
Мартинеза.
moment.
Он листает какие-то бумаги.
Can you please describe the body? Age, sex, cause of death?
Неопознанный мужчина средних лет, росту 70-75 сантиметров, темные волосы, средней комплекция. Судя по всему, он поскользнулся, повалился в дорогу в пирсе и ударился головой о металлическую скамью.
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell. There were bottles all around him, and traces of vomit on his shirt.
Any signs of violence?
Нет, кажется, это несчастный случай.
No field autopsy necessary.
Вот и это.
You can hear her quickly typing in the background.
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes?
У него были сапоги, брюки и старая кожаная куртка с ярко-голубой подкладкой. В кармане я нашел читательский билет.
Any information on the library card?
Он из центральной публичной библиотеки Джамрока, владелец некто Билли Межан.
Good. You have a lead. Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to someone else?
Мы возьмем с дело сами.
I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi. Please follow up on this library lead to identify the man. We'll send someone to take the body to the morgue. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Соедини меня с публичной библиотекой Джамрока.
I'm afraid they're closed. It says here that the library is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Ага.
We should try again during business hours.
Anything else, Detective? 57th, over and out.
С
In the
10
cabin,
часов.
you see a set.
Че, его жене-то расскажем? А, ее еще нету здесь. Окей. Ну что, Куна, погнали. Капец, наряд, конечно. Драма 8. Электрохимия давайте. На показ мод выведился. Внушение места сумрака. Да, пожалуй. Чуки наркохимия. Ты что, ничего не знаешь о попавшей саранче?
Kuno doesn't give a fuck about bugs.
So he knows locusts are bugs.
Oh my god, I told you that shit is lame!
Shut up, see.
Now they're gonna take you to lame prison!
Ты о чем?
Deny everything, Kuno. You need to lawyer up.
Kuno's not gonna say anything without his lawyer present.
There's definitely something going on here. Remember his pig's head shack? You should check it out.
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Kuno doesn't fucking care. Kuno из нас на скорости 20 тысяч километров в час. Kuno это скорость. Здесь все кишит саранчой.
All around you, the hisses and chirps of locusts fill the musky air. The earthen floor of the shack has been shaped into mounds of mud, dotted with little holes for windows. Like skyscrapers, spires of dirt and sand rising. Accommodations for their insectoid inhabitants.
Well, detective, it appears you've solved the case.
Отмечает что-то в своей записной книжке, бывает
Of the locusts. For the missing locust case, which is a subcase of the imaginary insect case. So at least that's going well.
Слишком много сарказма, Ким.
Oh, I'm not being sarcastic at all. We are making real progress here.
When someone says they're not being sarcastic, it's usually a good sign that they're being very sarcastic.
Думаешь, что Валийский Фазмид где-то недалеко?
If anything, the presence of the locust points to the opposite. The Phasmid did not take the bait from the traps. It was Kuno. The Phasmid doesn't exist. But what do I know?
Use your powers of deduction. You knew the magic bug was nowhere near here. The Phasmid is impairing your judgment.
Ну что, погодите в этом нашем
I'll let
кооперативе.
you handle the Kuno side of things. You are doing just fine.
Does Kuno
Я
care?
знаю, что ты спер саранчу из ловушки, которую ставили криптозоологи.
Kuno took the bugs, so what?
Ты видишь, что тебе насрать на насекомых, потому что стоишь для них целый город.
It's not Bugtown. It's the city of locusts. Locusts aren't just bug shit. They come out of the sky like a fucking shadow. Shit descends.
Stop!
Вселенная загада и взорваться лицом в
You
руки.
stop. It's like their fucking night. Locust City, Night City, City of Rage.
There's a tug of war over the name of his fantastical city. It's almost too big for his imagination. The girl forces herself to watch again, the corners of her eyes twitching from discomfort.
Город ярости звучит круто.
Kuno, the pig wants to help you. Oh, that's how lame it is. Please just don't say you're...
An artist? Maybe I am an artist. You hear that, everyone? I'm a fucking artist now.
Did he just say I? Kuno usually calls Kuno, Kuno.
Погоди, я не слышался, ты сказал я?
Kuno made Kuno. Kuno says whatever the fuck he wants. There are no rules here, pig.
Идет шаг к
I
тебе.
fucking say I when I wanna, and Kuno when I wanna. Kuno's free. Kuno's free to fucking die, bitch.
This is what he sometimes does when things get tense.
Это здорово, Куно, создать искусство. Круто.
Oh my god, Kuno! He's gonna make you totally lame in like 3 seconds. Don't let him, Kuno.
Оботстоить. Типа отстой.
Yo, fuck you, see? Kuno can be what Kuno wants to be. Kuno's his own man. Kuno's free.
Дёга запутались, пытаясь порвать на груди рубаху. Те не поддаются.
Kuno made himself into Kuno. Kuno can make himself into anything. Kuno can make himself into a pig if he wants. Kuno can make himself into a... Kuno doesn't give a shit.
Don't make yourself into a pig, Kuno. You'll have to take me away.
Воды после свинцовой тишина.
You hear snow melting, dripping from the eaves. Someone closing a window.
Помолчать.
Without a word, she disappears entirely behind the fence. For once, the boy is lost for words. He turns completely red now, with splotches of white beginning to appear across his face.
Не могу не спросить, что означает град
It
саранчевый?
don't mean anything. It's shit. Kuno just likes to focus. Kuno likes to concentrate on shit. Build shit when he's zipping hard. Fuck.
Поставил снежное лицо под каплю дождя.
Pig, you really shouldn't have fucked with Kuno City. Now it's all fucking lame.
Куно, прекрати воровать саранчу из ловушек. Криптозоологи ищут нечто очень важное. Саранча
I
приманка.
don't give a shit. I don't need the locusts anyway. Shit is all lame now. C was right.
The girl's face appears again, above the fence, just long enough to make eye contact with Kuno.
Что будет с саранчой? Кивнуть на лачугу.
Kuno's gonna let the fucking locusts die.
Ладно, с этим разболелись, так что я
The
пойду.
fuck are they trying to catch anyway? With the traps?
Ставолийского фазмида.
He recognizes the name.
Погоди, ты знаешь про ставолийского фазмида?
They just think Kuno doesn't know shit. The fuck out of here. Kuno's tired of this shit. Fuck does Kuno care? Kuno doesn't...
Kuno fucking doesn't know fucking shit.
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
Дитя, поговори со мной.
Murder was the case they gave me.
Она почти полностью скрылась за забором, бормочет точку из песни о том, как на нее якобы завели дело об убийстве, тащит только верхушкой шапки.
I'll die before I squeal.
Град саранчевый, ща. Эй, ребенок.
This kid shit. Fucking mind games. I'd rather die than squeal.
Get the fuck out of here, face. You got done. Talk to me.
So it's a girl. Interesting.
Денис, привет.
Kuno care?
Блин, я не могу уже.
Kuno doesn't fuck...
The trash container. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. The container sounds a muffled gong.
такой Locust City, как Low Cost City. Да, неплохо. Ну, еще Night City было. Ну, короче, тут много таких всяких ремарочек. О, курящий чувак, кстати. Здорово.
Hi, gendarme. Another rendezvous.
Есть у меня в тебе. Привет.
Hi. So what brings you here?
Что вы здесь делаете?
Admiring the atmosphere. What about you, officer?
Я пришел натирать задницу, раскрывать одно дело.
Well, here's to you.
Ну, за вас. Скажи мне об одном мускулистом, который интересовался преступлением. Еще об этом мускулистом, который интересовался
Oh yes,
преступлением.
let's see. He knocked on my door a few days after the lynching. I think he was going through the entire building, asking questions.
Что ты ему сказал?
Nothing. That I didn't see anything.
Он тебе поверил?
Why shouldn't he?
Ты сказал ему про своего друга?
What friend?
Какого друга? Воскресного свидетеля.
No, I don't think it came up.
Как он выглядел?
Muscular, handsome, strong, like one of those military types.
Он был один?
Yes, but he was speaking to someone on his earpiece.
Передатчик?
Yes, you know those tiny speaker microphones that fancy security guards sometimes wear.
Продвинутых. Что он
Just
говорил?
reporting back whatever I was telling him.
Какие у него были отличительные черты, кроме мускулистости?
Let me think. He had an accent. He sounded like one of those mercenaries.
А где балкон? Ну, мы с ним изначально на балконе встретились, поэтому он для нас чувак на балконе.
He sounded vaguely Oranese. No, not vaguely, scratch that. He sounded definitely Oranese.
Спасибо за информацию.
Sure. Anything else on your mind?
Мне нужно еще поговорить с твоим воскресным другом по вопросу комиссии.
Oh, a committee. How interesting. And if I may ask, gendarme, what is this committee about?
He's all bemused skepticism. He doesn't actually care what you want with his friend.
Не имею права разглашать.
Oh, a big secret committee. I understand perfectly. In any case, I would love to help. But the thing is, I don't know where he is. We don't talk about everything, you see.
Он легонько стучит кончиком
He
пальца по
might have
свете.
mentioned something about making a tour of some historical sites up the coast. In an unofficial capacity, of course.
Знаешь, когда он
Not a
вернется?
clue. I'm not his agenda keeper, you see.
Что ж, видимо, поищу на побережье.
Yes, you will.
Я пообщался с твоим воскресным
You
другом.
did. And how did you like it?
Секундочку. Так, все снова тут. Подвинутый с передатчиком. Ты прав, волшебный бюрократический.
I guess that's the charm of powerful people.
Кто он?
A visitor from the first world. He's not like you and me, gendarme. He can always return.
Всегда может вернуться. Куда
To his
вернуться?
opportunities in Occident, sur la clé. Still, his coming and going brings some life to the village. Or is it just money? I don't know.
Кем вы двое приходите друг к другу?
Friends, I told you. Sunday friends. Friends who like to get together from time to time.
Воскресный друг, что это вообще значит?
That he won't be there when times get tough, I guess.
Такого вообще можно назвать другом?
It is. On Sundays.
Почему он остался у тебя посреди ночи?
He has keys. And he likes the view. To the sea, I mean.
Я не хочу говорить о других людях, хочу говорить о тебе.
What about me, gendarme?
Самообладание.
Bye-bye, gendarme.
Самообладание.
Hi again, gendarme.
Почему же тебе все не дает покоя его манера держать себя? Он не такой. Он такой, не такой.
It's the sports. He's a sports guy. All about that physical prowess and athletic skill. Nothing else here.
Bye-bye, gendarme.
I've got nothing to say to you. What?
It's you again. What is it?
Я нашел человека, который видел повешение свидетеля.
A witness? You ain't got shit. The locals would never come to you with this.
That's just tactics, Titus. Next, he's gonna tell you one of us already rolled on the others, and is in witness protection.
Мой свидетель не местный.
Well, let's hear it then. Who is your mystery fella?
He's not alarmed by the sudden appearance of a witness, but he is surprised. This goes without saying, but nonetheless, don't give out his name.
Неважно, кто он.
It's like you said, Al. Copper's coming up with this on the spot. There is no witness.
I've seen this shit a million times, Titus. Fly fishing. They are desperate. Tell us, Copper, what wacky claims did he make?
Свидетель сказал, что его попросили очень тихо. Не было ни криков, ни другого шума.
It's you assholes that feel the need to go around like a fucking brass band. The Hardy Boys are dead silent.
Yeah. It's like they put cowbells on you before they send you to the streets. What's with the cowbells, policeman?
They're avoiding having to answer this question.
Ну, мне представлялось, что вы пили и пели линчевательские песни. Что за скромное молчание это?
We were drinking, weren't we, guys? I hit the bottle hard. I was drunk as fuck.
Right. I'm convinced, Glenn. Nothing off here. Just a regular hanging.
Свидетель видел двух людей аэропагитского происхождения и одного мескийца.
Aeropagite? Boss, I think he's trying to say me and Theo.
Well, yeah. What is confusing you? Eugene, Theo, and Elaine were there too. I already told you. We were all there.
Сюрреалистичный спектакль.
That means absolutely nothing to me. Sounds like some made-up horse shit.
It means the whole scene was long and drawn out, like it was from a film.
What is this fella's problem? Sorry we didn't make it more action-packed. It wasn't the first thing on our minds.
Shanky. It's Shanky, right? I thought there's something wrong about the lynching story. Now I know there was.
You don't know shit.
I know you are lying, Shanky.
Great witness.
И умирает жажда, потому что когда пьете
So much
гигантский.
bluster to hide the fact that they're uncomfortable with you having this info.
Авторитет. Давайте поднимем авторитет. Если мы можем как-то поднять, кстати. В чем я не уверен, честно говоря. Не можем.
It's you again. What is it?
What is it? Кто есть главный?
As you look around this room full of sweaty men, swearing, drinking, spitting out tobacco, does this look familiar?
Где я это уже видел?
You believe the place was called Precinct 41. It was also filled with, almost exclusively, men, sitting on desks, talking shit and wasting time.
Я понял, Тит, вы, мужики, здесь власть. Как же иначе? Ведете себя как настоящие копы, пьете пиво и херы пинаете.
You got a problem with beer?
Not quite there yet. Push on.
Понял, пиво меня устраивает и настраивает на правильный лад. Тот, при котором и не нужно думать, как работать свою работу. Короче, все как у вас.
Speak for yourself, buddy. I've been running this outfit for 10 years now. You should have seen Martinez before it started. It was like jam rock now.
They didn't see shit, man. Kids getting shot. We had 3 shootings a week. Fucking graffito everywhere. You cops haven't shown up since the 30s.
Congratulations on the graffito removal. All I see is you sitting around talking about Monica's titties while there's a rape victim.
So what? What do you want from me? We took care of that fuck.
Don't let him drink that. One more push. Quick.
Меня волнует не преступника, жертва. Ей нужна помощь. Посмотрим на нее.
She stops mid-sentence. That's it. You got him. He's going to give it up, but on his terms.
You wanna help her, cop? Fine. I'm gonna let you help her, but you treat her with respect. If you don't, if you question her, harass her, a freight train of pain, buddy.
А в его восприятии как мы можем ей помочь вообще?
What is her name?
Glacia. I'm on due. She's staying here at the Whirling in Rags. A real pretty one. Silvery jumpsuit. Blonde. That's
Это который наверху.
With an O-U.
Shit. The girl upstairs? That can't be her. She knows you drank so hard you forgot you.
Сказал, что не помнишь, копли ты и сказал, что забыл реально, скорее по своему номеру, как плакал. Классье?
Yeah. Blonde. Tall. 2 rooms over from yours.
Мисс танцовщица аранская?
Why not? You've probably seen her around.
Там-то бывшая соседка? Ну, да. Чего, Солодай, у нас проблемы.
You inexplicably add cool after the victim's name, with your eyes bulging like some wild beast. Your fingers are fidgeting and sweat starts forming on your brow as Titus looks at you oddly.
I don't understand what's so cool here.
Nothing. We just have a few more questions. Then we'll be on our way.
Calm. Normal. Try to forget this little hiccup.
Каких отношениях была с наемником, лол, он ее изнасиловать пытался. Это самое, но изнасилование, когда оно случилось? Так, почти затылок. А ты с ней в каких отношениях? Когда он случилось?
You did it before we killed him. He's not gonna do it again. So what does it matter?
It would help if we establish a timeline.
All right. 2 weeks, maybe? I don't know. I need another beer.
Бачу
Here you go,
соклеєно.
boss.
То без маленький на банку тит ее скрывает. Так, а ты с ней в каких отношениях?
I know her.
Наглядываться в зале писать непривычная
How
тишина.
well do you know her?
A small twitch in the corner of Kim's mouth. He has a hunch about what knowing means.
Well enough, Copper. We partied. She's been here for a few months.
He tries to make it sound real casual, but the muscles on his neck tighten.
То есть она не местная.
You mean Revachol? Nah. Our Miss Aranye disco dancer is an immigrant or a drifter of some sort. Been staying over here over.
Don't you give her any more trouble. She's just had some bad luck, that's all.
Shut up, Angie. She doesn't need your help.
Он себе по ладони по лбу.
Titus gives them both a look. They fall silent. What's with all the silences? It's like these guys don't know how to feel about this. You should keep picking at it.
Сказал, вы отжигали? Класс. Клевенько, но в каком смысле?
What do you think I meant?
С ней смешку. Секс, наркотики, караоке? Сейчас, секундочку, ребят. Так, мне тут покушать повезли. Чутко. Так. Секс, да?
Yeah, pretty much.
То есть удовы были близки.
No, we just fucked. That's all. I'm not gonna give you any details if that's what you're after. So
he really went out of his way to seem comfortable with this topic. That's all you're gonna get for now.
Кажется, я не смешок, кажется, мы знакомы.
You don't know her.
Помолчать.
Good boy.
А в каких отношениях она была с наемником?
Relationship? There was no fucking relationship. He raped her. That's their relationship.
Was like that karaoke incident all over again. Or like some of the other girls he was harassing.
Okay, enough. All of this is irrelevant to your stated investigation.
Спасибо, мы с ней поговорим.
Remember what I said. Freight train of pain. Again? Yeah, whatever.
Неплохо, неплохо, ПГС. Как вообще в бою мог закончиться вермут? Я поговорю с этим пацаном Куном, обещал больше не воровать саранчу.
I know you're skeptical, but I have a good feeling about this. So it was just a child.
А он удучен.
Thank you for telling us, sweetie. This is good news, right? It means we can try again.
Something is secretly gnawing at her confidence. It's not this Kuno kid or the missing locusts. It's something else.
Yeah, you're right. We just need to restock the empty trap. Then we'll need to inspect the traps one more time. And then maybe we can...
Чудовищный кашель.
He has a 38-degree fever. His resilience has given way.
Darling, I told you to take it easy. You're getting sick. Maybe it's time to go home.
You're right, you're right. We can come back next season when it's warmer.
Мы уже столько всего сделали, не делай тебя бросать. Я вернул живку в ловушке. Зажжем.
We are getting really carried away with this, aren't we? Fine. It's better than having these people get pneumonia on the coast. But after this...
Really? It's too much, officer.
What Morel means is we're grateful for your help.
These are fresh fractured loads. They should slide right down the funnel. And thank you again. We will definitely mention you, should this lead to a discovery. I'm not talking co-discovery, of course, but...
Не как софта, конечно.
Oh, hello, sweet.
Картонная коробка, крышка отпечена дырочками вниз коридоров. На первый взгляд ничего особенного, но из пистолета очевидно, что на ней кто-то усердно поработал.
Hey, was there something you needed?
Well, well. Bringing him that new bird sure made a difference in his attitude.
Ух ты. Вы платите постой на сегодня?
20 real.
Пока нет.
Then why are you wasting...
Why are you wasting your time?
Again?
Так, Ким, хочешь поболтать?
Yes? What?
Officer, what was that?
А? Что? Ты имеешь в виду, что ее имя, я вдруг начал потеть, не знал, куда деть руки?
Yes.
Кажется, я знаком с этой женщиной.
Is there something I should know before we talk to her?
Whatever you do, don't say the first thing.
Первый, я ее не насиловал. Она знает, что я не помнил о том, что работаю полицейским.
Okay, that's manageable.
Я с ней уже встречался в коридоре, когда проснулся.
Understood. You were not in good shape on Monday.
Она знает, что прежде чем отрубиться, ты люди потаевства отжигал по полной, и это сказалось на моей психике.
So she overheard you? Or did you party together?
Она слышала, что у меня играл музыка, и сказала, что странно, из своего номера я носил твои имя. Я спросил, где мы, в каком городе, может даже какой сейчас год, типа того.
That's clearly your interrogation technique. Anything else?
Больше ничего, занялся делами.
You'll be all right, Lieutenant. This is nothing.
You feel fortified by his assurance. It's going to be all right. Is it
Круто.
Nothing? You're still in for a bumpy ride here. Try not to mess it up.
На самообладание давайте перейдем. Да уж. Лоу, я же не платил за номер. Почему меня все пускает?
The fan stand.
Так, там карман или что? Может, он просто толстый чувак? Хотя нет, это куртка такая, да. Может, так застегивается она необычно.
The door is closed.
Who is it?
Tired. Controlled.
This is the police. Can we come in?
Come on up. The door is open. I'm drying my hair.
Sounds like it's coming from upstairs somewhere. You could snoop around before going up.
А еще стоимость пребывания в отеле. Похоже, она остается здесь надолго. Гор грязной одежды. Одежда женская. Отсюда виден двор внизу. Трупа там больше нет.
This medicine cabinet is full of wares. Sheets of pills, haphazardly stacked.
Двухэтажный номер. У нее там типа, ну типа да, сейчас увидишь. Мы снаружи ее уже видели, что он там на балконе вот этом торчит.
It's been used quite a lot, but not for scrubbing blood off towels or anything else interesting, it seems. Pharmaceuticals line the shelves, sheet upon sheet of pill bottle next to pill bottle. Acetylic acid, APAP, eye drops, blood thinners.
Солидная коллекция.
Anything of note?
Pill bottles rattle like bones as you search the cabinet. Paracetamol, something in a foreign language you can't read. Behind them, an unusually shaped nasal spray. Its label reads Nacra.
Что такое накра?
An opioid receptor antagonist. It's used for diamorphine overdoses.
You could say he's on the lookout. Among some foreign, probably Messinian or Gottwaldian, marked red blister packs you find. What do you find? This is going to take a little know-how. This medicine cabinet is stocked with drugs, plus an old toothbrush, and a bright orange bottle with peptide stamped on it, in sunny, happy letters. Jackpot, baby. That's the stuff you're looking for. Your palms begin to sweat just holding that little plastic container. It's speed, man. Just what you were looking for. They call it dextroamphetamine and talk about psychological disorders. But what we're seeing here is some scientifically advanced trucker speed.
Peptide, a euphemism for pharmaceutical amphetamine. Prescription speed.
The fuck are you waiting for? Let's get super fucking preppy.
Сказал о нем Тиму, да. Просто открыто его взять. Потные ладошки. Закрыть шкаф. А потные ладошки у нас это от чего? К черту, ты же пытаешься завязать. Да, я согласен, просто, ну, поверка, интересно, все дела. Ну, она красная, я не буду. Пока. Так. Стало повеселей, когда поел. Кровать заправлена в спешке.
This window is pristine on the inside, unlike the one next to it. Light from the desk lamp reflects off the glass in an untarnished golden halo. Smooth as ice. There are spots of mud and rain on the outside, even smudges. But the surface of the window is clear from the inside. No chips, no hairline fractures. Following your lead, the lieutenant leans in closer to inspect the surface.
Секунду он заменили.
Looks like it, yes.
Что ж. Тогда допустим в следующий раз, господа. Сейчас время героев, действительно. Запах сигаретного дыма Астра с ментолом. У меня нормально там уже очков, там 4 очка есть. Так. Да, собственно, господа, на этом у нас сейчас с Disco Elysium все. Я сейчас еще перекушу чуть-чуть другого. И у нас с вами будут герои Меча Магии 3. Он же Клинок Армагеддона. Компания за Крэга Хэка. Последняя миссия. Вроде как. До встречи. Пара-па-па-пи-пу-пам. А если что, Disco Elysium у нас, ну, видимо, на следующей неделе уже. Па-па-па-пам.